Yeah, yeah. Y'all know what time it is. Y'all already know, man. What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's good, y'all? What's great? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I am your host, Ashley Lovechild. I want to thank y'all for tuning and tapping in to episode 214. A lot of podcasts don't have 214 episodes, so we pride ourselves for giving you our absolute best here. And we have a good time. We talk about everything. If this is your first time tuning and tapping in, we talk about everything from sports, entertainment, social commentary, and we have a good time doing it. You know what I mean? So I hope y'all bring that good energy, light, and just good, great vibes. And we're gonna have a good time. Again, y'all don't forget to hit them like, hit the 100s in the chat. That helps with the growth of the show. And our show is continuing to grow. We're on the road to 20,000 subs. We're a little over 12,000 subs. Just went over 12,000 subscribers. So again, hit that subscribe button. Also, there's membership portions in the page. Different memberships do get granted different access. So take advantage. Come on, y'all. Y'all already know what time it is, man. We're gonna have ourselves a good time. Shout out to the chat already deep in the building. I'm seeing like a name called the Loyal Crew. I love that. So again, I appreciate y'all for just showing major love in the chat. Let me shout out to some of the people in the chat. I'm not gonna shout everybody out, but I'm gonna shout out some of the people in the chat for being loyal, for being day ones, and for being big badge holders, because that does make a difference with the pod in itself. Shout out to Hazel in the building. You already know Hazel. Make sure y'all go listen to that new album, Cover Girl by Hazel Hennett. Make sure y'all tap into that. Shout out to Tremont in the building. Shout out to King in the building. My brothers and sisters. Tremont, your BK all day. Shout out to Winter, the Loyal Crew. I like that. I actually love that. You already know. Shout out to Winter again. We do stuff just because. Facts, true. We don't respect our legends. It's crazy. Ja Rule got jumped in, bro. Okay, so y'all was talking about that. Okay. Shout out to Ebony. Uh, Made it in time. Shay in the building. Hey everybody, peace and blessings. Shout out to Paul in the building. Paul, yo, appreciate Paul in the building. You already know, one of our day ones. And again, we got a whole bunch of badge holders in the building. So again, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping and showing that love, light, and energy. And remember, y'all, we have a good time here. Don't be an agent of chaos. Do not be a stain, somebody that's trying to stand out for being negative. Stand out for being positive. And the only op we recognize over here is opportunity. We celebrate culture and life culture at that. So, and realize hate has a destination, and this is not the pod for that. So, shout out to Supreme Need in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. I like to purchase some of the. Okay, appreciate you tapping in. You're trolling. You're trolling. Yo, you know what I'm saying? I let people cook a little bit, but you're going to be the winner of some tickets if you keep it up. We don't do that here. It's not that type of pod. We're not built off bots or trolling behavior. If you're here to show love, support. If you're not, you already know. All right, y'all, let's get this thing started. First segment of the night, popular opinions. Y'all already know this segment is brought to you by OUV Records. Make sure you go to Instagram at OUV Records and stay in tune to the latest music and merchandise. The label motto is create, document, and inspire, as y'all see it up there. All right, y'all, first question of the night. Shout out to the chat. Hey, Ken. Okay. Were you a child actor? So some of y'all in here trolling already. We get them each and every show. I guess all shows get them. It's just other shows don't acknowledge these people. But I get it. I get it. Y'all looking for some sort of attention. I get it. I feel you. But again, hit them likes, hit the 100s. Again, it helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all. First popular opinion question of the night. Remember, y'all, these are not my questions. These are the world's questions. So stick to the answers in the question. All right. Favorite Bruce Willis movie on this list. Favorite Bruce Willis movie on this list. Number 1, Striking Distance. Number 2, The Last Boy Scout. Number 3, Death Becomes Her. Number 4, Die Hard. Let me know what y'all think in the chat. Again, favorite Bruce Willis movie on this list. Number 1, Striking Distance. Number 2, The Last Boy Scout. Number 3, Death Becomes Her. Number 4, Die Hard. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Yeah, y'all trolling hard. Like y'all, like the ones who trolling super hard. I can't imagine what your everyday reality looks like to look for this type of attention. Like that's crazy. But again, I appreciate you being here. But I'm gonna hook you up. Yeah, I feel you, brother. So I'm seeing Die Hard in the chat. I'm seeing Die Hard in the chat. Ain't nothing wrong with that movie. That's one of my favorite movies of all time, me personally. But all these movies is fire. Striking Distance is fire. The Last Boy Scout with Damon Wayans is fire. And Halle Berry makes a quick little cameo in that. Death Becomes Her is very underrated, very funny with Goldie Hawn. And I can't think of the other lady, but she's a legend in the game as far as the actress. But it's a fire, funny movie. But I'm going to have to go with Die Hard. Die Hard is one of my absolute favorite movies for me personally. John McClane, he's in the upper echelon when it comes to top cop in the movies for me. You know what I'm saying? I have him up there, right there with Bad Boy. You know what I mean? I have him higher than Lethal Weapon. I have him higher than all that because John McClane was really out there on his lonesome. And if you've seen the first one, brother was out there racking bodies with no type of shoes on. He out there feet on butt naked, just slacks, white beater, and he taking over the whole Nakatomi Plaza. You know, so I gotta go with John McClane doing that big grande, running on roofs, climbing over broken glass. So I gotta go with Die Hard on that. Shout out to Paul Meryl Streep. Yes, Meryl Streep. That's what I said. I know it was a legend. And she was extremely good. Meryl Streep. Paul always looking out for me. Thank you for that, Paul. Die Hard and The Last Boy Scout were heat. Yo, I'm trying to tell you, man. Yo, The Last Boy Scout was very underrated, especially when he came home and found the wife cheating. And the dude, like his boss was the boss was cheating with his wife. And he hiding all in the closet and he having a cool conversation after he found him, like, yo, you need to get up out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have to take you up out of here. But he kept it real calm. I don't know if most men would keep it that calm in a real situation like that. Shout out to Mash in the building. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. We appreciate you tapping in. It helps with the growth of the show. Hello, wonderful person. I'm sending all the support and love from Europe, Siberia. I hope you are having an amazing day. And remember, you are loved. An amazing day. My job is to spread love. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Mash. We appreciate you tapping in for that. Shout out to Robo in the building. Okay. Shout out to Sir Bobby in the building. Do you have any of that Diddy oil left? You already know I still got the Diddy oil. You already know that. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. It's a good time. You know what I'm saying? You know I still got some of that Diddy oil. The take that edition. You know what I'm saying? You know I still got that Diddy oil. But my Diddy oil is reserved for women. I'll just leave that right there. Oh, man. Y'all are funny in the chat, man. Robot, Die Hard, and The Last Boy Scout with some heat. Ebony, I love Die Hard, but I have to go with Striking Distance. Wow. Paul went with Die Hard as well. So I went with Die Hard. The chat is going with basically Die Hard. There was some votes for The Last Boy Scout and Striking Distance, but the rest of the world at 61%, mind you, 54,000 people voted on this, went with Die Hard. Yo, Die Hard is a fire movie. Like, I don't understand how you don't become an instant fan of Die Hard. I don't know nobody, whether they was born in 2000, 2010s, and obviously in back like 90s and 80s is not immediate fan of Die Hard when they see it. It's such a fire movie. Such a fire movie. All right, y'all, moving on to our next popular opinion question. Best hip hop collab on this list. Best hip hop collab on this list. Number one, Mariah and ODB, Fantasy. Number two, Mary J and Method Man, All I Need. Number three, Jay-Z, R. Kelly, Take You Home. Number four, Tupac and Casey and JoJo, How Do You Want It? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, best hip hop collab on this list. Number one, Mariah Carey and ODB, Fantasy. Number two, Mary J. Blige and Method Man, All I Need. Number three, Jay-Z, R. Kelly, Take You Home. Number four, Tupac, Casey and JoJo, How Do You Like It? Let me know what you think about that in the chat. Let me know. All fire songs. Me personally, I'm a big fan of all this right here. Mariah, ODB, fire song. Mary J. And All I Need was probably like the first song when I was a kid I memorized by heart. That song is just so fire. The beat, how Method Man like just straight bodied those verses. Jay-Z, R. Kelly, Take You Home. It's the chef's kiss on that R&B hip hop thug type of style. And then Tupac, Casey, and JoJo, How Do You Want It? I gotta go with that one. That one to me is a nuclear bomb. You could play that in the house by yourself, at the party, at the barbecue, at the club. You could play that anywhere and it's going to get right. So me personally, I gotta go with Tupac, Casey, and JoJo, How Do You Want It? In the chat, I'm seeing How Do You Want It. I'm seeing Mariah and ODB, Fantasy. I'm seeing that one as well. So it's a mix between both of those. But all these are fire songs. You can't go wrong with any of these. Again, I went with. The chat went what they went with. Over 14,000 people voted on this, y'all. And at 34% went with Tupac, Casey, and JoJo, How Do You Want It? It's a fire song. Like, if y'all don't know that song off the top of y'all head, yo, write that down. Go listen to it later. It's a fire song. So make sure y'all check out those songs. Even if y'all not familiar with the rest of those, make sure y'all go check those out later on. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Hollywood Need to Ask Us segment. Came up with this segment because Hollywood don't give us enough interest in movies. I feel like I have better ideas for movies or a movie series. So my Hollywood Need to Ask Us, I would love to see a movie on the legend himself, O.W. Gurley, the man, the architect on building Tulsa, Oklahoma, who happened to be a cultured man. This man actually owned 40 acres. And he also owned 4 business blocks in itself that was filled with hotels, stores, and so on and so forth. Helped building the community of cultured individuals in our own wealth and having our own business in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And if you know anything about the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, you see what I'm saying? And it goes to show how deep rooted that some people, not all, but some people who have the pulse of this country have a vested interest in not seeing cultured people come up. And the way we come up is through love and through business. So if you interrupt those things, it also interrupts the family structure. So I would love to see this movie built on this, a movie made of this man, O.W. Gurley, again in the 1900s, that built Black Wall Street. And I know it had to take a sense of pride for himself, for his family, the community that supported him, and all the other business owners that was inspired and had their business, and even the ones that didn't even get a chance to, that was inspired. So I would love to see this movie. Obviously, this has to be rated R. I wouldn't mind that this be a bio, also like a cross genre with a little horror, because what happened at the Oklahoma City bombing is horrific. For this movie, I would cast. This would be my principal cast of this movie. I have to go with Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy is an actor who is super duper funny, if not the best, but I'm going to say the best that we've ever had in the game, ever. For him to be that funny, to be that great as an actor, play everything as an actor, I'm going with Eddie Murphy. I'm also going to cast Tom Hanks. I'm also going to cast Marissa. I always mess his name up. Mahershala Ali. Mahershala Ali. I think that's a better saying of his name. Mahershala Ali. I'm also going to cast Yara Shahidi. I'm going to go with Joseph Sequoia. I'm going to go with Gabriel Dennis. I don't see one of our day ones, and we always use his name jokingly, but I would cast Terry Crews in this movie. And I will also cast Debbie Morgan. So that will be my principal cast. And for those who don't know, there's an inside joke on the show. You know, we say Terry Crews' name in a joking manner or whatever, but I would actually cast him for this movie, a part of my principal cast. And I think this would absolutely be fire. And I know we joke about Terry Crews and things like that, but he's a solid actor, and I believe he could pull off one of these roles that would be for this movie. So I will go with Eddie Murphy, Tom Hanks, Mahershala Ali, Yara Shahidi, Joseph Sequoia, Gabriel Dennis, Terry Crews, and Debbie Morgan for this movie of O.W. Gurley. And my art director would be Lawson Brown. So I think this would be a great fire movie to tap into, and I would love to see them make something like this. Shout out to the chat. If you haven't already, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. I try to say it as often as I can, but you know, I will forget if I don't say it. So shout out to the chat. Shout out to Biggs in the building. You already know my guy in the building. Yeah. Shout out to Paul. That's a beautiful cast. I would love to see that. Ebony. Yes. Yeah. I think that's a great cast for that type of movie, right? And you think of their acting ability, their aesthetic, and you know, when you're talking about greatness and the prestigious look, I think this cast will absolutely body this. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next segment, our must-see segment. Y'all already know I'm gonna give y'all 3 fire movies to go tap in and check out. And I've been doing it for 214 episodes, and you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be some more fire that y'all gotta go tap into. First movie of the night. Make sure y'all go see these movies. Came out in 1991. This movie is directed by Russell McCullough. He also directed Highlander 1, 2, and Resident Evil Extension. This movie stars Denzel Washington, John Lithgow, Ice-T, Kevin Pollak, John Amos, and the beautiful and gorgeous Victoria Dillard. This movie is called Ricochet. Fire must-see movie about an upcoming cop who makes his way in law enforcement by watching the rest of the movie. I won't ruin it for you, so make sure y'all tap in to see the movie Ricochet. Second must-see movie came out 1998, directed by Rodney Harrington. He's done movies like Roadhouse and Striking Distance, we spoke on earlier. This movie stars Cuba Gooding Jr., Tom Berenger, Morena Jean Baptiste, Eric Stills, I'm sorry. Fire must-see movie. This movie is called A Murder of Crows. This movie is about a lawyer that is basically in a situation that he kind of has to learn things as he go, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. I won't spoil it for y'all. Third must-see movie came out 1993, directed by Steve Gomer. Steve Gomer also directed movies like Sunset Park. This movie stars Ron Bryce, Jeffrey D. Sams, and Daryl Mitchell, and MC Light. This movie is called Fly By Night. Fire must-see movie, hip-hop movie. It basically gives you talk about an artist and making his way to the music industry, and you have to watch the rest of the movie. It is a fire, underrated movie. Great soundtrack, by the way. So make sure y'all tap in to see the movie Fly By Night. So my three must-see movies again was Ricochet, A Murder of Crows, and Fly By Night. Make sure y'all tap into those three movies. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one, profile artists. I'm going to give y'all fire artists to listen to, whether it's new or old, whether it's hip-hop or R&B. I'm going to give y'all some fire shit. So make sure y'all tap into this artist. Put these three songs on your playlist. Tap into the R&B artist, Link. Again, his name is Link. Fire music. First song to put on your playlist by the artist Link. I Really Want Your Body. Fire. So when you hear a song, I Really Want Your Body, R&B, this artist is from the 90s. You already know what type of time this is going to be on. It's going to be some fire. Second must have on your playlist, I Don't Want to See. Fire song. Put that on your playlist. And third and final song, One of a Kind. Fire song. So put those three songs on your playlist by the artist Link. Again, I Really Want Your Body, I Don't Want to See You, and One of a Kind. So put those three songs on your playlist. Again, by the artist Link. Shout out to Paul. Is Daryl Mitchell in the wheelchair of this before his... Yes, yes. Most people probably know Daryl Mitchell for playing in the TV show with Michael Strahan. He plays his brother that's in the wheelchair. Y'all probably seen him in a movie, a classic movie called House Party, where he plays the character Chill, and he kept bumping into the DJ booth, and Martin Lawrence came from behind the DJ booth like, yo, if you bump this one more time, it's going to be on the cracking, B. The dude with the hat, that's Daryl Mitchell. Yes, yes, yes. That's the same one. He had his accident, and now he's in the wheelchair. Yes, 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 absolutely, yes. All right, y'all, make sure, again, y'all tap into the movies and to that artist Link and put those three songs on y'all playlist. I'm in the midst of reading more books right now, so I want to, I want to give y'all some new books to read, but I want to finish reading the books that I'm going to suggest to y'all. So we're going to move on from that. So you already know what we have. Send them the turkey or nah. Send them the turkey or nah. If this is your first time watching, Turkey has some of the craziest laws in the world. So we send people there when they say and do stupid shit. And tonight is no different. So y'all know the rules. Type in T to send them to Turkey. Type in N not to send them to Turkey. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. First one of the night. Summer Walker. For some of you Summer Walker fans, Summer Walker has came out and said that she just wanted to be the side piece. She was going back and forth with an artist or producer named Rich the Kid and his girlfriend, and she calls herself Miss Pizza Hut, because I'm guessing she likes it her way, or she could get whatever's on the menu. Or I don't know why she calls herself Miss Pizza Hut. But Summer Walker has came out in response to his girlfriend and says that she just wanted to be the side piece. And I'm guessing his girlfriend is having an issue on their relationship because she just wanted to be her. So let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending her to Turkey or not? Are we sending her to Turkey or not? And I'm talking about Summer Walker. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Y'all funny in the chat, man. Y'all funny in the chat. Me personally, when I look at this, I cannot send her to Turkey. And ladies, y'all know I'm not on here to placate with nothing. But I have to be honest. I can't send her to Turkey because she's speaking her truth. And she's dealing with a guy who doesn't know how to basically situate himself, his girlfriend, and his side chicks. When you have a level of success and you have a certain amount of money, you are gained a certain type of access. Nobody should be handling nobody as far as a relationship. Is either you down or you not down. When you have your side and your main beefing publicly, that's terrible. And the fact that Summer Walker had to come out and say this, I can't be mad at her for speaking her truth. And I can't be mad at her for other people following her and liking her music and following her ideology, even though there was a lot of things that Summer Walker have said in the past that was just like, yo, is she for real? Like it's just wild to me. But she is speaking her truth. So when anyone speak their truth, you really can't be mad at that. They letting it be put right on the table where they are with you. You can't be mad at that. As a dude in that situation where you have a woman and you have a side piece or you have several, and this is just one of your side pieces, you have to learn how to situate this all together while in a way where it doesn't interrupt the main thing. And your main thing is always the money. You take care of yourself, you take care of your lifestyle. You're not going to have a lack of, I'm trying to find a better word to say this, but you're not going to have a lack of choices when it comes to the romantic department. When you have finances, you can afford to keep yourself up looking a certain way if you're not naturally looking a certain way. So you're not going to find a lack of people that's not going to want to be with you. They're either on your program or they're not. Summer Walker sound like she wanted to be on your program, but a little bit on hers, but ultimately on your program. So if you can't keep in line your main and your others, then you shouldn't have neither one of them. You shouldn't have anybody. You should keep it cool and deal with one at a time. And maybe you're not the person that you think you are, that you think you can handle several women at a time because you don't want it to interrupt the main thing. So me personally, I can't send her to Turkey for speaking her truth. Like what? How mad can you get at somebody for speaking their truth? For real. How mad can you get at that? Now that they spoke their truth, is either you going to sign up for the foolishness or you're going to walk away. That's the beautiful thing about knowing the truth. You have the ability to walk away. If somebody don't want to sign up for the messy, that's even more beautiful. Then you can walk away or replace. It's so simple. I don't know why us as a culture, we make dating harder than what it has to be. It's dating. Even when you're with somebody, you're in a relationship with somebody. No matter how long you with the person, each and every day you change. Each and every day the person change. So y'all have to constantly find ways to connect and have the same vision. And if y'all don't, you're going to get your main and your side going back and forth in the public eye. It's one thing to do it behind the public, but in the public eye, that's messy as all to be damned. So I can't send her to Turkey for speaking her truth. Simple. I can't send her to Turkey. As bad as I want to send her to Turkey, because I really want to send her ass to Turkey based on some things she said in the past. But logically, I can't send somebody to Turkey based on speaking their truth. Shout out to Paul. She definitely sent her to Turkey, no return. Shout out to Tom, Ashley, and chat family. Stay blessed and balanced in life. Appreciate Tom in the building. You already know. Don't forget that them likes hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Shout out to Slate. Appreciate you tapping in. Be doing the right thing. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to tell you, like, you can build with somebody that speaks the truth. I say this all the time. I'd rather tell you what you don't want to hear than to lie to you. That's how I really operate. I'd rather tell you something that's gonna make you uncomfortable, but you gotta think in your left brain, like, damn, he respect me enough to tell the truth. Cause we can't build on no lie. No matter how you want to put it. And I'm not saying this to anybody in particular. I'm saying this in general. You can't build things off lies. So when somebody tell you something uncomfortable, especially when you're in a relationship space, how can it grow? Relationships that are great relationships, you have to have the uncomfortable conversation and being resolution based. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. So I would send Rich the Kid to Turkey because he not handling his situation properly. And mind you, I don't believe in handling. It's like people should be, how they should be, but at the same time, there is a way to handle your business instead of handling people. So that's what makes the difference for me. Shout out to Tom. Ashley, it seems like women get to dictate how they are in relationships. They choose how they want to be in, and they choose it if they're going to be victims or boss chicks or independent. That's a good point. That's a good point. You'll be sending her to Turkey as soon as she can find a good man. Nah, I mean, at the end of the day, because ladies, this is the reality of the situation. You can't force men to do anything, especially in relationships, especially to take it further, to marry you. You can't force that. You can ask, but you can't force his hand. No matter what type of thing that any dude that's in his right mind, you can't force him. It has to come from him. Now, women could say, like, I like being treated like this. But again, it's all in decisions of that man. It's either I'm going to treat you the way you want to be treated, or I'm going to treat you in the way that you should be treated. That's two different things. So it's not copy and paste from every dude because every man is different. Every man is different. Every man runs his program different. So most women, y'all can't use the same playbook on all men. Because remember, I told y'all in past episodes, men, we all have different superpowers. Some face card, some money, some body. Like, I mean, body as far as like physical, right? Some, I think I said money. Some money, body, face. What's another one? Some just energy, right? And some dirty Mac. And what I mean by dirty Mac is that they talk bad on other men to boost themselves up to get themselves a shot. It's all different ways that men bring that woman in. And based on how she looks, it's how he's going to work it. So because of that, you have to play each man differently. So you have to be very aware. There's a difference on how you want to be treated and how the man that you like feel like you should be treated. That's two different things. It's two different things. So, but shout out to Tim. I love that response though. I love that. Shout out to Tim. Time. I said Tim. Shout out to Time. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next send them to Turkey or nah. Send them to Turkey or nah. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson spoke spoke on a Saturday incident where a teen was killed and 8 others were injured and wounded Friday night. I'm sorry, right. That was injured Friday night in the shooting in the Chicago Loop area downtown. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Are we sending him to Turkey or no? Are we sending him to Turkey for speaking on it and letting it be known that this happened? Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. The only thing I'm confused about, I could have sworn the National Guard was there like not too long ago. In the presence of the National Guard, they felt like Chicago was a completely different city when the National Guard was there. Like, and I would have to believe that the National Guard presence is no longer there where these kids and teenagers think they can pull that downtown Chicago. It's like, what are we doing? I mean, I can send him to Turkey for speaking on it, but he's speaking on it. And he's letting it be known that this situation is happening. But I think most people want to send him to Turkey is because he's speaking on it and nothing is being done. You had some sort of assistance with the National Guard. Why can't this presence still be upheld without the National Guard? Why can't there be a use of smart police present tactics. We live in a world of information and data, and police presence matter where it does affect local crime. If nowhere should be safe in your city, it should be downtown. It should be areas where tourists visit because that helps with the finances of your city. When I go to different places, whether it's within the US and without the US, wherever the tourist is at, it's highly protected. Highly. And if the people from the land do anything to the people that's tourists, there's going to be different type of hell to pay because you're messing up the money, you're messing up the reputation. So I don't understand how Chicago, as how they do their politics, their local politics, don't have a beat on this already. This has been the running theme of Chicago for a long time. For a long time. And Chicago had a history of places that was like rough areas, but they also had a history of beautiful things coming out of the city. There was beautiful places that was, so what was told to me, very untouchable. Now it just seems like there is no checking system when it comes to the policing in Chicago, especially with teens. What type of preventative measures are going on that's within the school system first? And then after the school system, after when they get out, post school system, I should say, what is going on? So I gotta send him to Turkey based on that in particular. Shout out to Tom. Actually, my last time this Summer Walker was just. Oh, you talking about Summer Walker? Okay, I'm gonna go back to Summer Walker in a second. Raiders. All right, so I'm gonna go back to what you're hitting on right now, Tom, in a second. But yeah, so at the end of the day, Chicago has to sit down again, come back to the table, and revisit their leadership. And they have to be able to bring in people that understand smart police tactics. Because you can't tell me that a city is just going to run amok and the people dictate the city. There has to be laws in place. If people commit crimes, that is like, yo, bro, I would have, if it was 6 months ago, I would have, but now that we got these new laws, bro, I ain't trying to be away from my family. New York City is a very violent place, but there's laws in place to deter people from doing violence. California is a very violent place. There's laws in place to deter people from doing violence. And not to say that there's never going to be violence, but when it happens, it's like, yo, you looking at serious time. So why do you think you don't hear a lot of gunplay for real in New York City? You hear it from time to time, but when anything happens with guns, people end up getting like unalive. If you get caught with a gun in New York City and it's not loaded, you have to sit there and do like mandatory, I believe, like 7 years with no bullets. You sitting in jail, gun with no bullets, doing 7 years. That's a egregious amount of time to be sitting there with a gun with no bullets, because obviously you showing off to scare somebody, right? But if you got bullets, that adds extra time. So when is the Chicago leadership going to get it together and change the narrative of their city? It's just crazy, man. Shout out to Leon Taylor in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show, man. Shout out to Tom Ashley. My last thing with Summer Walker. Just to look at Vivica Fox. That will be Summer Walker in the near future. No man. Hold on. It disappeared on me. No man will want her in the near future. Me personally, I'm not a fan of a woman that has a lot of work to her body, myself. The future would tell its tale. I don't think anybody would sign up for that either. But she's trying to take advantage of her youth right now. But see, here's the thing. It's not on her. She could go do whatever she wants. It's on the guy to accept whatever that she's coming to the table with. Whether it's work, whether it's a toxic mindset, is up to that man to deal with her. Whether he's going to take it serious, whether he's going to play with her, either one of those. So um, eh, people have to be very careful on the type of information that you get from these or from some of your favorite artists and actors, because they're speaking from a place of hurt. They're speaking from a place of toxic energy, and they speaking from a place where they want to make themselves look better by speaking on some bullshit and knowing it's bullshit, but they want to see if people gonna go for it. So it puts them in a higher light. So I agree with you on that, Tom. I agree with you. Ashley, just imagine if Sanders was with the Raiders numbers. He was with the Raiders number 1. Uh, just imagine if Sanders was with the Raiders number 1, number to the whole NFL owners, GMs should be shipped to the moon. What talent? And that's my boys. That's my boys been sitting on the bench. I'm actually going to get into Shador Sanders a little bit later in the show, Tom. I'm definitely going to do that. That's a fact. That's a fact. And shout out to Antonio Pierce, who was the former coach of the Raiders, and he said flat out, he said, "Yo, if I was the coach of the Raiders, and this was before today's game, he said if I was still the coach of the Raiders, we was taking Shador with that first pick. They had no plans on bringing in Geno Smith. So that's a caveat that that I throw to you. That was the original plan, but when he got fired, and Pete Carroll wanted a more experienced quarterback, so that's how that worked. So, but we definitely going to get into that Shador Sanders in a few in the show. Shout out to Leon, appreciate you tapping in. Brazil in the building, appreciate Brazil in the building. I got to pull up to Brazil, man. Brazil looked like a hell of a good time. Shout out to DJ Bass in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. We got Malu in the building. Appreciate you, Malu, in the building. What's happening? Don't forget to like the live. If you don't know how to, just double tap the screen or press the. Try to tell him, Malu. I appreciate Malu every single time, man. Shout out to Malu, man. Thank you for tuning and tapping in. And like she said, y'all, don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. All right, y'all, moving on to our next one. Y'all already know it's time to rap. This segment is brought to you by our presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Again, that's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. First hot topic of the night as I get a little sip of this water. Shador Sanders makes his debut, y'all. I told you we was going to speak about it in a second. Shador Sanders makes his debut start with the Cleveland Browns versus the Las Vegas Raiders. Shador Sanders had a very solid game. If I'm going to be critical, be honest, and be a fan, I have to speak with the football hat first. The fan to me is going to support nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to say this before I get to the rest of this. If you from the culture and you don't root for Shador, get away from me. Now, if you don't root for him for football reasons, then I could somewhat respect it. And the only reason why I could somewhat respect it, because you're not making it personal based on what you see. But I also, on the other hand, don't agree based on what you see, based on what I see. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to Malu. The hyphenated sign goes in between the button and the snaps. So it's button hyphenated sign snaps.com. Button hyphenated sign snaps.com. So with Shador Sanders in itself, right? So I have to have on my GM hat, my coaching hat. He had a very solid game. He went 11 for 20, 209 yards. He threw a pick, and he also threw a touchdown. So he did a lot of great things today. One, He's always been a good quarterback that knows how to read the defense. He's always had a quick trigger on that thing, which leads to him being supremely accurate. Shador, like I said in the draft, he is the most accurate quarterback that was in this draft. 5 rounds later, still the most accurate quarterback in this draft, and it's not even close, and it's showing up. Secondly, one of the things that I saw that he did not do is that he climbed the pocket. And I think the reason why we've seen him escape the way and develop that ink where he drifts in the pocket at Colorado is because that offensive line was terrible. As a quarterback, it becomes like a part of your mechanics that you do that when your team is lacking in the area, and you just do that because that's the way that you're going to buy more time in the pocket on that team. But this is the NFL. They're going to create a pocket. They're going to come off them edges. He had to step in that pocket and throw that ball. So I like the fact that I seen him do less drifting in the pocket. Thirdly, he naturally throws people open. Naturally. But he has to develop a better rapport with his receivers. Him and his receivers is still, the inks is still not there. And I don't expect it to be overnight. For those who don't know, football is a team sport. It takes years for these things to develop. It takes years. These are things that don't happen overnight. But it was a better energy. And the receivers, some of the receivers, I have to be honest, they be loafing. If they know they're getting the ball, they go all out. If they don't know, they loaf. Tillman on that non-route, he was loafing because the defensive back played off on him. He thought he wasn't going to get the ball. Bro, you 6'4". The guy that's on you is 5'11". Everything else is covered. Regardless if the play was designed for you, you're still running a route. Look for the ball. So that's one of the things I would love to see his receivers do more, is look for the ball. But that's not just a Cleveland Browns thing. That's an NFL thing. All across the field, all across the league, I'm seeing receivers running routes without looking for the ball. It's like playing college football at somebody's home field with the squiggly lines, and the receivers is running routes without looking for the ball. Like, what do they do that at? Like, ever since you was in high school, when you break the line, regardless of what route it was, you're looking for the ball. You turning your head around as fast as possible because you're looking for the ball. When a receiver runs routes without looking for the ball, that means he's afraid. He's afraid of getting hit. He's seeing ghosts out there. And that's very unreliable for a quarterback, especially a young quarterback. Another thing that I like what I saw out of Shador, obviously, is his ability to break the pocket. He looks faster in the NFL than he did at Colorado. So when he breaks the pocket, he's a factor in the running game. I won't say the running game, but in extending plays and getting first downs, that's a hindrance for a defense. So I love the fact that I seen that out of him today. The biggest thing that I love is that the team, it feels different when he's in there. They feel confident. They play with a level of confidence that you didn't see prior. So I love the fact that we're seeing more and more. And this is only 1 week of practice. We have to continue to let him develop. We just watched a cycle of other quarterbacks develop, like Caleb Williams. He's still developing, but he didn't look great first 2 years. Now he's looking like somebody that could be a great quarterback, right? Even though he had unbelievable talent, right? Same thing with Bryce Allen with Colorado. He was somebody that Colorado was like, I said Colorado, Carolina was looking to get rid of at the end of the season. And now, again, he's still having his struggles, but he's still developing, and he's kind of turning the corner for the best. So you got to give this man a chance to develop and cook. So those are some of the positives that I seen out of Shador. Always very accurate. He did throw the one interception, but every time he throws a pick, it's been 2 picks last week and this week. Every single time he's doing that, he's trying to throw people open. Now, in this particular game, he's trying to throw the receiver open. It was just a bad read. He read it wrong, and the defense did a great job in tricking him. Did a great job. And those windows closed super duper fast. There was also another play where he had open, but that window closed fast, and he didn't throw the ball, and that worked out because if he'd have threw it, it would have been a second pick. So I'm loving the fact that he's learning week by week, and we got to let this young man cook. So shout out to Shador. Like I said, he had a solid game, and I think he could have had a better game if they would have utilized him more on the goal line. Instead of having a touchdown, he could have had 2 to 3 touchdowns. There was another play where he threw the 40-something yard bomb to Isaiah Bond, and he catches it, but he falls on the 1 yard line. It's like, yo, bro, be an athlete. Keep your feet and take that thing into the end zone. There was another play with Jerry Jeudy. He hits him on the dime going across, and Jerry Jeudy, he dancing and ends up, getting it stripped out. So, but I like how Cleveland is progressing. I was always of the mindset that Cleveland was a quarterback away from being a very good team. That defense is scary. I told y'all, Mr. Mason Graham was the answer. I told y'all this. Y'all like, oh, who big boy? He don't even look like he tough. That's my Michigan guy. Mason Graham he's a difference maker, and now you got Myles Garrett on the outside. You see how that defensive line looks unblockable. I mean, and the other, like this rookie class of Cleveland, I honestly believe they have the best rookie class all year. They have the best rookie class of this season, for sure. For sure. Their 2 running backs is doing their thing. Simpson had the long catch by Shador. You know what bro from Ohio State is doing, the running back. Why's his name escaping me right now? But he's been doing this thing. Junkins, he's doing this thing. Schlesinger, the defensive linebacker, the outside linebacker, and Mason Graham doing this thing. And now, if you have Shador doing how he's doing and continue to get better, you had the best draft. And the reason why I can't include Isaiah Bond in that is because he was undrafted. But this year's rookie class has to go to the Browns organization. Can the Browns not be the Browns and Browns this thing? Can y'all actually be a good organization and continue to develop this young talent and grow with this young talent? Don't mess this up. Don't mess this up. Y'all mess this up. Mind you, Shador, I believe, is the first quarterback since 1998 or 1999 to win a game in his rookie debut, or first game debut, I should say. So they had a whole lot of quarterbacks. It's about like 40 something quarterbacks, y'all. That's a lot. And he's the first quarterback to win in his debut game. So shout out to Shador Sanders. And yo, your uncle is rooting for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Keep doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them hold you down. And I have to say this on top of this, because within the culture, for people that's not in the culture, you have to understand our confidence and our belief in God goes hand in hand. So it's funny how people hate somebody's confidence, but they believe in God. Who you think gave them that confidence? Who you think gave them the ability? I'm saying. So in our culture, confidence and our belief in God goes hand in hand. Shout out to Patrick in the building. You already know Patrick Torres in the building. All these NFL teams are stupid for not drafting Shador Sanders, especially the teams that needed a quarterback like the Saints, Jets, and Raiders. See, that's another narrative I want to get rid of, right? Because I said this last show. I hate the narrative when people say, and I'm not saying you're saying this, Patrick. It's just the fact that you brought it up, so I'm just putting it out there, right? But I hate the narrative that people say that the NFL didn't want him, right? Where certain teams didn't want him. Because every team didn't need a quarterback. It was just the teams that needed a quarterback. And they knew damn well they needed a quarterback, right? Like you said, the Chiefs, I'm sorry, the Chiefs, the Jets, the Raiders, the Saints needed a quarterback, right? Outside of the Titans, the Giants, the Arizona Cardinals needed a quarterback. The Raiders needed a quarterback. All these teams needed quarterbacks. And it was like, yeah, nah, we cool. The Vikings needed a quarterback. The Falcons needed a quarterback. These are teams that's going to be looking for quarterbacks. And they knew that there was a possibility that the quarterbacks that they had in their room was not going to turn turn the corner of that. But with all of that said, I believe that each team got the quarterback that they were supposed to get. I really believe that. Jackson Dart, based on their coach, I honestly didn't want Shador with the Giants. I honestly didn't want that, and I already knew that they wasn't going to draft Shador. I already knew that because the Giants don't draft brothers as their quarterbacks. It's in their history. They don't do it. And if it wasn't Jackson Dart, it was going to be Beck from Miami. Because remember, Beck was on an uptick before that last year that was played. He was looked at as the number one quarterback that was going to be taken out. It was going to be between him and Shador, right? So when Beck leaves Georgia, well, Beck had the terrible year in Georgia, then he goes to Miami. He was supposed to come out. So if he would have had a great year at Georgia, he would have came out. And the Giants would have drafted him over Shador, over Ward. But it is what it is. The Titans ended up getting their guy. Even if Shador would have went number one, I honestly believe he still wouldn't have ended up as a Titan. They would have just traded out of their position. So I believe each team got the quarterback that they were supposed to get. I said this about the Cleveland Browns. If you believed in Dylan Gabriel that much, if he was end all be all for y'all, then why would you draft another quarterback just 2 rounds later? What great team that believe in their quarterback and believe that he was going to be a franchise drafts another quarterback behind him? You don't see it. How many quarterbacks in that same draft did the Ravens draft after they draft Lamar Jackson? How many quarterbacks did the Buffalo Bills draft after they draft Josh Allen? Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. I could go on and on. So again, it tells its own story, right? So I honestly believe that Shador is where he's supposed to be. The only other team that I would like to see him more than the Browns, honestly, I think it would go crazy if he was with the Jets. And most importantly is the Cowboys. I'm just saying. If Shador's with the Cowboys, he's from the Dallas area, that marketing machine, it will go crazy. But he's at where he's supposed to be at right now. And he's going to continue to do his thing. So I'm glad that he's proven himself right just by playing good, just by playing solid. And he's going to have these moments before the end of the season where he's going to have a crazy game. He's going to have an outstanding game. So shout out to Shador Sanders regarding that. Shout out to Patrick for that comment, by the way, too. Shout out. And shout out to Malu. Yes, that's the exact website. I know there's nothing about sports, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that 100%. Shout out to Malu. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. 84% of the Billboard Global 200 songs uh, all are viral on TikTok before hitting the charts. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. So they basically saying that there's a formula now that most successful artists, I wouldn't even say successful artists, but artists who are having success with a song is getting it popping on TikTok first and then are able to transition it into being on the global charts, on the Billboard charts. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat based on that metric. And they saying 84%. See, music is in a space that I love right now because you could find music and love it, right? There is no more gatekeepers to tell us what's hot and what we should be listening to. Those days are played. Those days are played because honestly, prior before it was, I don't want to say it was easy, but it was kind of easy to get popping before. If you had you a hot song and you went through the proper channels, you could be popping. In this day and age, you could be TikTok famous, YouTube famous, Instagram famous, and people still won't know who you are. So you can even have a TV show on TV and people don't know who you are. You could be in movies and people will walk right past you. You have to hit each market. So now in the music space, when I hear this, that people who are having success with a song or on their particular project is doing it through TikTok, I mean, that's a formula that most people don't know but do have access to. Will most artists follow this format? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. Shout out to Patrick. I can't believe I can believe that stat. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I could believe it too, from the sense of when they when they pick those particular sounds from TikTok, those special 8 seconds from a song, and it does translate. It does. But it's scary though, because when you hear those 8 seconds of the song, like, oh, that sound good. But when you go listen to the full song, it's like, I'm cool, right? It's a little, it's not a lot on the bone, right? And this is no shot to anybody, but I remember when, what's the girl with the curly hair? The rapper, light-skinned girl with the curly hair, from the Bronx. Oh my God, what's her name? Oh, Jesus. Chat, help me out, please. The girl with the curly hair. I'm trying to make a point. Oh my God. I can't think of her name right now. Ice Spice. See, y'all get me right in the chat. Ice Spice. I remember when she had her first song, and I think one of the lines was, no, that was Janae Aiko, and she said, "Eat the booty like groceries." She said something of that nature, but people would know that part of the song, and when you watch the concert, they will only say that part, but they wouldn't know the rest of the song because that sound went popular on TikTok first. So it's amazing that this is a part of some artists' formula, right? But it's also lacklusting mainly because that the rest of the song don't hit, and people don't get hip to the full version of the song, even though they're getting hip to the exposure. So I just think that's quite interesting that works in that manner. So I agree with you, Patrick, but at the same time, I think it messes up the listener experience, because now when we go listen to the full song, it's like, damn, like this shit ain't hitting on nothing, right? So, but I definitely agree with that though. I definitely believe that is the metric. 84% of the Billboard stems from TikTok first before getting onto the Billboard. So I definitely agree with that. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. And again, y'all, if you have already, don't forget to hit them likes hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. We just hit over the 12,000 subscribers mark. So continue to like, subscribe, and share. Again, it helps with the growth of the show. And we're on the road to 20,000 subs. So let's continue to do our damn thing. All right, y'all. Next hot topic. I don't know if y'all heard about this, but they have released a list of non-professional degrees based on the new standard of the U.S. Department of Education. So they considering these degrees as non-professional degrees moving forward based on these new standards. Number one is nursing. Number two is physician assistant. Number three is physical therapist. Number four is audiologist. Number five is architect. Number six is accountants. Number seven is educators. Number eight is social workers. And number nine is public health. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat, that they no longer considering these as professional based degrees according to the new U.S. Department of Education criteria. So please let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Me personally, when I look at some of these degrees, I think I'm trying to find the right words. These jobs and careers, I should say, are very necessary within our climate of professionals. I get where they're trying to go with as a professional, but these are professional degrees. But I believe, in my opinion, that these are the professions that they highlighted mainly because you could start businesses, and these degrees and these careers path is not based on a system. What I mean by that is this: to be a nurse, you don't have to be a nurse at the damn hospital. That's not the only way to be a nurse. You can be a full nurse and be a private nurse. You can have your own business as a nurse by being a personal nurse of sort. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like they're highlighting these, because you can have a business in any of these professions, and it's not basically geared to being a part of the hierarchy, a part of the hospital. When you think of a physical therapist don't need to be at the assigned hospital or place that they assigned to be. No, they can have their own, right? They can have their own stuff. Audiologist, same thing. Architect don't have to be a part of an architect firm to get that money on. You got the degree, you have the foundation. If you know business, you can have your own business. Same thing with accountants. Same thing with educators. Now you have private educators. People have money where they like, you know what? I'd rather for my kid to be homeschooled by this private educator. And you're going to get the tools and the attention that you need from your private educator. And obviously public health and social worker. Now social worker, I think, operates a little bit different. You have to be a part of a higher system to basically get the resources that you need to be a social worker. Unless you have, again, your own private business and you're getting grants, but a lot of businesses are not able to operate like that per state. So, but that's why I believe that these professional degrees is considered non-professional anymore, in my opinion. It's because they don't depend on the hierarchy to make their money on. Shout out to the chat. I very much disagree. Okay. Let me know why. Let me know why. But I know I'm one of the few to see it my way. But definitely let me know why, Milo. Let me know why you disagree. With what I was saying. Because again, at the end of the day, We live in a space where it benefits regardless on what you do is to make your own money. If you depend upon a company or you depend on a system to get paid and you're not a doctor or a lawyer, it's not the same. So you gotta find ways to make your money. And again, that's why I said about these particular jobs, well, these particular careers, is because these careers don't depend on the higher system regarding that. So again, if y'all disagree, let me know why. And like I said, we love to have the great conversation here. You know what I mean? Like that's one of the reasons why I love the chat is y'all always keep it a buck. Y'all always keep it a buck, even if we agree to disagree. The way society is built is like this 100% from our ancestors. The rich are those who killed and abused other humans. And now they built a system where people are kept in position compared to their history. Okay? There's definitely truth to what you're saying. There's definitely truth to what you're saying. So the correlation for you is basically, regardless of what people do, they always going to find another system that benefits one group of people and basically alienate another group of people. We get that. We get that. I definitely get that. That's not something we disagree on. But we have to look at the big picture. Just because they classify something as such, that doesn't mean it's not. Because all of these positions are still very needed in our society. We need nurses. People get sick every day, B. So there's no way that, like, for real, you could deem a nursing degree as non-professional. But because a nurse doesn't have to work at the hospital, she could get her own, or he could get his own coin by being a private nurse or by being a specialized nurse that doesn't require working at the hospital. And it's crazy. One of my good friends, and we grew up together. I've known this man probably since the third grade, and we still brothers. And he's one of the leading nurses in the world. One of the leading nurses in the world. And every time I see him on Instagram, it like I'm happy because, again, I'm from a place where we struggled and fought for last place. And for those that don't understand what that means, is that I grew up in a neighborhood where it was always competitive and people always fight to be the best, whether it was in school, whether it was in books, whatever the case may be, we fought for last place. We fought for the last spot, even if we was deserving of it. So to see him to go through the educational ranks, mind you, he was a good athlete, but he went through the educational ranks and became one of the leading nurse in the world. He goes to nursing banquets and they give this man awards. He present awards. He put on other like he's that dude, right? Even when I had my whole finger situation, for those who've been with me, when I dislocated my finger and he seen it online, he called me right. He was like, "Yo, you good, bro? What hospital you at? Yo, put me on the phone with somebody. They gotta know you got somebody back. Somebody got your back. Like put them on the phone with me, dog." I'm like, "Yo, chill. Like you flexing, bro. Like chill. Like I get it. You know what I'm saying? You the misname. You know what I'm saying?" So, but to see him do that, he doesn't have to get his coin doing it through the traditional way. So just because they deem it as that, they can't say people are not that. It's just based on their criteria. So, and we have to continue to exercise our strength. And what I mean by that is, if you have a nursing ink, an accounting ink, a social worker ink, that you still want to be that and give to society, still do that, because we still need that in our communities. Because without that, people don't realize the use of a social worker. There's a lot of families that don't operate in the right way and need social workers. They need to be constantly checked on. So these careers are still very needed in our communities all across the board, whether it's from the community and outside the community, is still very needed. A shout out to Player in the Build. Appreciate you for tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Appreciate you tapping in, Player. All right, y'all, moving on to our next hot topic. Question. Have the tipping experience gone too far? And the reason why I asked that question, I've seen a viral video that a woman was basically getting the business for not tipping in the way that the worker felt like that person should have been tipped. So have tipping gone too far? And a part of the reason why I asked that question is because I've noticed when people go to restaurants and you going to pick up some food, the people that's taking your order, they're expecting to get tips now. It's like you have tipping gone too far. Now, me personally, I'm not a restaurant person or whatever the case may be. But when I used to, go to restaurants and stuff like that, and the reason why I don't mess with the restaurant food is because I don't trust restaurants with the food. After doing my research, I don't trust them with the food. And I've been like that for some years now. But when I used to go to restaurants, I used to notice like the inks of people wanting to get tipped and you picking up the order. Like, yo, I called, I'm picking up some wings. They're like, oh, you such and such, okay. And then they'll have you pay it, and then they'll have the tip. It'd be like, but I'm picking up my food. Fucking, like, you just took my order. You didn't go back there, shake it up, none of that. You didn't deep fry that. You just took my order, and the person in the back cooked it. You know what I'm saying? And they looking for tips. So have tipping going too far? Me personally, if I'm going to sit down at a restaurant, I'm going to tip based on the service. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you get mad at that. If you signed up for a job that chose to pay you $2 an hour, $3 an hour, $4 an hour, that's a choice. So you can't be mad at somebody coming to the restaurant and then they feel like they got terrible service and you want to get tipped just because you don't make the type of money you think you should have made. You should have made better choices in life. Maybe go get a better job. But if you're going to be working in the hospitality, I won't say hospitality, but in the service industry, when it comes to preparing somebody's food, bringing somebody their food, you want to make sure they get adequate service. And when you don't get the proper tip, don't act like an ass, because that person that don't give you a proper tip may not give you the tip because they don't have it. They just have enough to eat. And now, because they didn't tip you properly this time, what happens when they do get the money? And be like, you know what? Last time I was in here, I was on struggle mode. Now I got a couple dollars in my pocket. I remember that person, or I remember me not being able to tip somebody. You pay it forward. So some of these waitresses and waiters have to be cognizant of that. You're in the service industry and you chose that job. No matter how bad shit get, you chose that job. So because of that, all you can do is do your very best. All you could do is be there for the person as needed, as the person that's receiving your service. Even if you do and give proper and the best service and they're not able to give you a proper tip, whether they can or they can't, that's besides the point. It shouldn't change the mood of your service, because at the end of the day, it definitely it won't go unnoticed, I should say. Somebody will see it, and somebody's going to come in and make sure that that's right and make sure that's together. Simple and plain. Especially for those people that just taking a damn order and expecting to get tipped. Yo, go get the order. What are you talking about? Shout out to the chat. You know I love the chat. No, I think it's too good. It's too good. It's too good. No, I think it's good manners. No, I think it's good manners. Shout out to Malu. But it shouldn't be expected though. I love that. It shouldn't be expected. I love that. It should be up to the individual who pays and buys the food. Not all got tip money. Facts. And some people would say in response to that, then don't go out and get something to eat. Huh? How you know people's situation? How do you know that people could that like how do you know that somebody don't live near the damn restaurant opposed to the grocery store in that area? How do you know if they just rather get a faster version of a home cooked meal? So they can't get a hot meal because they don't have enough money to tip for real? Where they do that at? We never had that mindset previously. Never. You better go get you something to eat. Hunger hurt. So like I hate when people answer like that. So I'm glad you said that, Malu. It should be up to the person, individual who buys the food. If a waiter would give me an attitude for not giving them a tip, she will be fired. A shout out to Biggs. Facts. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's kind of childish. I hate when I hear, oh, this person makes $2, this person makes $3. Yeah, they chose that. They chose that. You chose to work for a place that do it like that. You chose that. The industry is terrible. It's not on the customer, it's on the industry. And when people would tip, they gonna tip. But should you expect it? Nah. Why doesn't the restaurant tip you? They just let you get the tip and be like, all right, well, we gave you the $2, but we ain't say nothing about that $150 that you just got. See what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, some waiters get mad that you even showed up. Like, you ever get that type of service where it's like, so what do you want? Like, it's like, yeah, I just got here. Do I know you? I ain't never meet you before. Why am I getting an attitude for pulling up? I'm hungry. So I don't know if y'all ever received that type of service, but I ran into some great service people and I've tipped them really good. Really good. So that's always been my experience regarding that. So, but if I got lousy service, oh, I walks out. I paid my bill and walk out. If I got lousy service, if you ain't check on me, you ain't make sure my food was hot, came piping hot, you need some ketchup, what you need, bro? You want extra water, something like that. If you not checking up on me and you know where to be found, I sat there the whole time, ate. I had to go get my own damn napkins. I had to go get my own refill. Oh, what? Huh? Tip. Don't stand next to stoves while it's hot. That's all I'm saying. Shout out to Tom in the building. I'm back, Ashley. If you can't spend money, hold on, I'm see that. If you can't spend the money to sit and eat, stay, go home to the drive-thru. If you don't want to tip, I don't agree with that. And like I said, before you came back in, I don't agree with that prior to, mainly because you chose that job. Some people have the ability to tip and some don't. So you can't tell somebody don't pull up if you don't have tipping money. That sounds crazy. Only this era have developed that ideology. That's crazy. If you receive crappy service, you have the money to tip, but you don't tip because you got crappy service. That's the same as not tipping. It's the same thing. It's just the difference in your reasoning is different. So it's the same metric. If you don't tip because you got crappy service and you don't tip because you don't have it, it's still the same output. You just didn't tip, regardless for whatever the reason. So I don't agree with that. I gotta get great service. And even if I got great service, it's up to me to tip you well. And when I do, a simple thank you would suffice. But you can't expect to be tipped greatly, especially if the service is ass. It's the same output. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Shout out to Gyro in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Shout out to Malu. Time so regular people can't enjoy the eat out once in a while. Something is wrong with you. Patrick, walk or walks. Time when you tip, good. FYI, you go back to the same place. Watch the waitress and waiters will tip you. That's always good to tip. Good. Yeah, but that's what I expressed prior to. That's what I expressed prior to is that tipping has gone too far because you pull up to places picking up your order and the person that's taking your order is expected to tip. So there's nothing wrong with tipping if you feel like the service is great, but you can't expect a tip every single time, mainly because you don't know if somebody have it or not. And because they don't have it today to tip that waiter or whatever the case may be, they're still doing a service for the restaurant. So can you imagine if people say, you know what, I don't have the money to tip, so I'm not going to go to the restaurant. There will be no more restaurant business. There won't be no more restaurant business because if you're able to go and buy your food today, and like I said, and you can't tip, but you still enjoyed your restaurant experience, the next time when you get some money, you remember that not being financially right. The next time you come, you bust off, pause, and you get right. So it always get paid forward. So to make people feel that they shouldn't pull up if they don't have tip money, that's terrible business etiquette as far as business, because the whole purpose of business is to have traffic. The whole purpose of business, the whole purpose of having menus and be like, yo, it's 2 for $20, is to create traffic because that gets people through the door, right? They want to spend a couple more dollars on some sodas or whatever the case may be. They got the restaurant t-shirts or something. So again, it's like you don't want people to get negated of a restaurant experience because they don't tip. They chose that job. Get a job that doesn't require tipping for you to make ends meet. And that may sound a bit insensitive, but how sensitive are people when they're at their job and they don't get tipped? How many professionals you know get tipped, but they still pull up to their job, they still do what they're supposed to do, right? And they don't get paid all the money that they're supposed to. So what they gonna do? Yeah, you my client, so tip me, right? So I just have a disagreement regarding that in particular, especially in the food industry, because the food industry not too long ago, and they still not off yet. If you notice, a lot of chains has closed down. So if they adapt that motto, there's gonna be mom and pop stores out this mug. Like they're gonna be serving them hot chicken wings at 7-Eleven. That's why 7-Eleven is eating. I bet you don't want me coming to your restaurant. I go to 7-Eleven and get them little struggle wings and that little diarrhea pizza. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Tom. Shout out to Malu, Tom. I missed that. Exactly, Ash. Tom, Ashley, most people are not eating at 5-star restaurants. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Do most people are going to affordable restaurants so they can leave? But you can't say that. You can't say that. You know why you can't say that? Mainly because affordable restaurants, meaning they can afford what's on the menu, right? Some people may not have the extra money to pay that. So just because they're not going to 5-star restaurants, what makes you think the affordable restaurants is barely affordable for that person? When they say affordable, that means a barely affordable. See what I'm saying? So you got to remember, they came out with the research that if you got over $5,600 in your savings account right now, you're richer than 90% of the U.S. population. So that little $30, $40 that you spend at the affordable restaurants It's barely affordable. You got people out here going on dates just to eat. Barely affordable. So I get where you're going with it. I honestly and genuinely get where you're going with it. But at the same time, expecting something and getting something in the food industry, beggars can't be choosers. Beggars can't be choosers. See what I'm saying? This is not like going to the strip club and you bringing the money to get your lap dance. That's like you going to the strip club and the stripper in the club is like yo, give me a dance. Like I want to dance for you. And but she got the little struggle booty. She got the little struggle body. You like, yo, nah, I don't want to give you none of my dollars, boo. I want her in the back. You know what I'm saying? She looking good. I want to give her my dollars. Know what I mean? And she like, nah, but what's the purpose of coming here if you're not going to tip? What's the purpose of coming here if you're not going to show love to the whole spot? And you're like, nah, like I want to enjoy my experience, boo. I want the one in the back, know what I mean, with the little bow on her butt, know what I mean? I want to go in, you know what I'm saying, spend all my dollars on her, you know what I'm saying? I could get jiggy with that over there. That's kind of like saying the same thing. Shout out to On King David. Appreciate On King David for tapping and hit them likes, hit them 100s. You already know it helps with the growth of the show, man. Appreciate you tapping in. Hi on King Wick. Going to the live. Shout out to Tom. That's the that's the food in the strip club. You giving away more money in the strip club. You are in the restaurant, but it has that same ideology. It's the same ideology, right? Because the whole purpose of going to get to the restaurant is to get something to eat. It's not going with the sense of tipping, right? But it's a part of it. If you go to the strip club to get, get to see the booty, right? To see all the thickness, but when you partake in the lady that you want, meaning like the stripper that you want, you spend your money, your meal on that stripper. You're not trying to tip all the little struggle strippers like nah, get away from me. Know what I mean? Like I want her in the back. But the ones, and you know what I'm talking about, Tom. Stop playing. The struggle stripper is always the one coming up to you. You feel what I'm saying? When you're in the club, always the struggle strippers come up to you. You know what I'm saying? The struggle strippers like, hey, you cute. You want to dance? Nah, I'm cool, little mama. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool, but I appreciate you asking, though. The real bad one that you want always in the back somewhere, and dudes is always like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you waiting for her to come around. So it's the same ideology, bro. It's the same ideology. And now they got wings in the club. You know what I'm saying? They got food in the club. Oh man, I'm having too much fun. Shout out to Shakia in the building. Hit them likes, hit them 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. You already know how we do it. I'm just getting off work. Appreciate you tapping in. You already know. Again, y'all, if you have already, hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. Yeah, all right, y'all. So moving on to our next hot topic. Artist Bow Wow. The artist Bow Wow says that new artists can't sell out tours because their music isn't impactful. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, the artist Bow Wow says that new artists can't sell out tours because their music isn't impactful. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. I'm about to go in on this, but let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. All right, so there's a lot of layers to what he said. Bow Wow in himself is a legend artist in his own right. I'm a little older than Bow Wow. I probably have him about like a couple years, maybe I'll say 2 to 3 years, right? If I'm not mistaken. But I know I'm older. I'm a little older than Bow Wow. But I remember when Bow Wow came out. And a lot of people, because you remember, when you're younger, the age gap seems further apart as so when you get older. What that means is Like if you're in the fifth grade, you hang out with 10-year-olds and under. When you're in junior high school, even though y'all may be 2 years apart, you hanging out with the 11 and the 13-year-olds and older. You see what I'm saying? So the gap seems further than what it is because of those different schools. So he's a legendary artist. A lot of artists that was a little bit older didn't really jack the music. It was people that was his age, exactly his age, and younger. He's always had that demographic. And as he got older, he always had a younger demographic. But Bow Wow is a legend in his own right. But it's disingenuous that he said this, mainly because there's layers to what he is saying. The gist of what he's saying off rip, he's saying that, again, today new artists can't sell out tours because their music is impactful. One, that is completely wrong. Completely wrong. The main reason why that's wrong is because it's the money. And because new artists is not a part of the systems. Now, if he's talking about new artists who is very high ranking in the industry, meaning like they high profile artists, and they can't sell out tours because their music is impactful, there might be something to say about that, but not really, because the music industry was always built on money. And what that means is that the hip hop industry was always one of the leading genres in the music space. So the money was always there for hip hop for a long time. When it came to the 2000s, which the era that he was a part of, because Bow Wow was out, I would say like 2000, I would say like 2000, 2001, Bow Wow was already out. So he's a part of that older guard, where the industry in itself, you had to be a part of a label. And as we see in 2025, a lot of those labels was built on backdooria. A lot of those labels were built on come over here and party for your advance. Now, I'm not going to put that on Bow Wow because he was with Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri is a legend in the game. Bow Wow benefited from being with Jermaine Dupri as his artist, because Jermaine Dupri is one of those music guys that's going to look over his artists. You see their relationship. They have big brother, little brother, maybe, dad and son type of relationship. So he really looked out for Bow Wow, try to protect them as best as possible in and out the booth. So Bow Wow had the benefit of the experience that Jermaine Dupri already established. I know people like to joke about the Criss Cross thing, but Criss Cross was a big deal when they had came out. So he already had skin in the game as far as Jermaine Dupri. And his leader was Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri have worked with several legendary artists. So for Bow Wow to say this, your music is not that impactful, is the reason why you're on tour. You came out at a time where the formula was you had a great song, you got on a gatekeeper, meaning one of the gatekeepers was radio station, was 106 in Park. Those are gatekeepers. You didn't get to those gatekeepers by yourself. Jermaine Dupri was plugged in. I have a young, talented artist who deserves the attention. We have great music. We put this music together, but you're not impactful just because you're impactful. You're impactful mainly because, I don't want to say mainly, but a part of that credit is your team. Without your team, it's not in the same space. So those gatekeepers, when you are part of that system, it's going to make you hot. So if you have a great song that you get and craft by Jermaine Dupri, legendary producer, then he knows the people at the radio station. Hey, I got a young new artist. Hey, if y'all love Criss Cross, y'all gonna love this new kid from Ohio. Boom. Now you got 106 in Park, another thing that he has access to. So to paint that picture that all of the artists previously are on tour because they impactful is bullshit. The music in itself, and I'm not saying the music is not good, But because that was the system on how people got music, 106 in Park basically told people that this artist was important. The magazines that you had access to is basically gatekeepers that told people that this artist was important. The radio station. But we don't depend on the radio, the music videos, or any type of big producer to be popping. I just spoke on that majority of the Billboard Top 100 comes from TikTok. It's no longer from a gatekeeper telling us what's hot. We no longer see an artist at one time like we used to. And what that means is we used to see an artist at one time at the same time. Meaning when you seen that video on 106 in Park, and if it was fire, if the song was fire, people running to go buy the record. If your song is fire, if they play it several times on the radio, it don't really have to be fire for real, but it becomes like, yo, I hear that song on the radio, so they're gonna go support it. So to say this is very disingenuous, and it is speaking more so from a place of keeping your place. It's not speaking from a genuine spot where you don't have a certain intention in doing that and saying that, because you're trying to separate yourself from the newer artists because you're on tour. But you're not on tour by yourself. And I'm not saying you can't sell out a tour by yourself, because you have. But in 2025, you're not doing that. You on tour with all the other artists at that time that was hot, that people had that nostalgia for. Yes, but it's several of y'all. Y'all not doing that dolo. You're not doing that by yourself and then taking a whole lot of the new people and having them under you. No. All of y'all that was a part of the old system is teaming up to do a tour. And there's nothing wrong with that. Get your money. I want you to be celebrated. But to say that is very disingenuous, because a lot of the newer artists, because we in the age of information, we not going for the same deals as y'all was going for in the 90s and the 2000s. You have more artists who are rich that is not famous. I found more, and I don't like speaking about myself when it comes to money and stuff, like especially online, because you just never know who's watching. But there's way more artists that the world doesn't know that have way more money from music than a lot of established artists that people would know just walking down the block. There's several all across the world, bro. Go to all 50 states. There's a dude in Portland. There's a dude in San Francisco. There's a dude in Chicago. There's a dude in Florida. There's a dude in New York. There's a dude in Memphis. There's several dudes around the world. There's a dude in Vegas and several, and not just one, it's several of artists that you have never heard of, music never been on the radio, that made more money from their music just by local support than an artist that you would see in everyday life on tour. Way more money, way more hardcore fans, way more that buy t-shirts, that pull up to their YouTube, that patron any type of music that they have coming out. So for him to say that is disingenuous. Now, some people would say, like, well, think of the new artists that we have. Look at some of these female artists that only rap about their coochie and this, that, and the third. There could be something to be said about that, but that's not all artists. Again, these artists that are getting the pub are not our best artists. They're not getting pub because they are great artists. They're getting pub because they learn how to be interesting outside of their music. They understand the use and meaning of content. So when an artist understands the use and the meaning of content, they don't have to be good. They can have some trash ass shit, but have content. Look at Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat is, if not one of the best, but one of the top streamers in the world. If he wanted to release music for real, and the music is hot, everybody and their mother will go buy it. Now, if the music is trash, everybody in their music will still go buy it. So it's about being entertaining. You have a lot of great artists out here that don't want to do they don't want to do the content. They just want to do the music. And their music is very impactful. When people hear it, they gained a new fan. So you can't say that. You can't say that. It's very disingenuous because today's game is not yesterday's game. Now, if today's game was yesterday's game, if we were still dependent on who was hot by going to TRL, 106 in Park, radio, having a fire music video, being in a rap magazine. If that was the same way and it was still the same decline, then you will have a legitimate point. But because we don't have music and it's delivered in the same way, you don't have a leg to stand on regarding that. I supremely disagree, and it's very disingenuous by you saying that, because when you saying that, you're saying it from a place of an agenda that you're trying to keep your space. And honestly, you being a legend, your space is your space. Legend space can't really be like hit. So that's how I look at it. And I'm giving you your propers for real. But at the end of the day, it's very disingenuous by you saying that. Shout out to the chat. Y'all been going in on the chat. Hold on, let me go up because I missed a lot of y'all stuff. All right, so I missed a lot of y'all stuff, so I don't know if Bow Wow ever had lined the show and sold it out on his own. He's always been on tour with someone that was impactful, just like him. So it's a little misleading to tell people. I agree with that. The chat is agreeing with that. Jermaine Dupri had star power with kid artists. Yes, like that's why I had mentioned Chris Cross earlier, and he had other artists too as well. But Chris Cross was a major success. Star power with kids, had the Brat, had Chris Cross. He was really a good producer. At the time with Escape, Jermaine Dupri. And people don't realize Jermaine Dupri got his start when he was much younger. He got into business because his family was already in the business. So when you understand the structure of something, you have a leg up. So now when you bring in and you find people who are talented, you just follow the formula. And that old formula was very easy. If you had a hot song, you took it where? You got you a nice video. You took it to 106 in Park. Now they're gonna write about you in the magazine. Now you're on the radio. It was an easy formula. It's not the same as it was before because we got the internet on top of that. We don't depend on people telling us who's hot anymore. Malu, y'all don't forget to like. Okay, you don't know how to. Okay, so she was making sure the chat was right. Love that. Exactly. Ashley haven't created. Exactly, Ashley. He haven't created a hit since. Shakita, that is the best music, Ashley, because that is what he has become, and it's so effed up. The artists we don't know, that's not in the industry. Bow Wow. But see, what most people don't understand, there's a difference between the music business and the music game. You have a lot of artists that don't want to be a part of the music game, but they make sure that their business on point. And most artists that their business on point is not a part of any type of label, because they made sure they had their money. And what makes it even more disingenuous on top of that is that it's funny that we hear that a lot of artists that was impactful from the 90s and the 2000s, they were some struggling money struggles, renting cars, renting homes, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And we seen that where on MTV Cribs, they say, yeah, a lot of those houses was rented. A lot of those houses was rented. So again, to say something is impactful, if something is impactful, then why you can't afford to keep your lights on? Why do you have to fake it when you're impactful? It's an oxymoron, right? So it's very disingenuous. What do you think about the singer David being arrested for the body being found in the Tesla? Uh, they trying to slowly put that case together. They trying to rope that thing. I think he's in. I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to speak because it's too many. It's too much legal stuff going on with that. I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save my. I'm gonna reserve that one. I'm gonna reserve that one. Poor man needs to go to jail. Well, he's definitely guilty. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna reserve my judgment for that one because the evidence is the evidence, and I just never heard of somebody being unalived, and if you break into a vehicle without the keys to throw the body in there, that's not an easy thing to do, right? Like, but some people say no, it's real easy. If you scan and you get the scan key, but it's a Tesla though, so I something is fishy. But he should definitely. I would say this. This is what I will say. He should definitely be investigated for messing with her because she was underage. The hard part is figuring out what they did physically, because even though you've seen her with him, you can't automatically say that they were smashing. Even though we know, you know what I'm saying? We know, but we can't say that in like definitively as far as evidence. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm gonna reserve judgment for that. Milo, that's okay, Ashley, but live, I've seen it play out. I'm just surprised he hasn't been locked up yet. Now that's a fact. That's a fact. I definitely agree with that. But again, just because he haven't been locked up yet doesn't mean they don't have a case. They just not overplaying their case. Because when you overplay your hand in a matter like this, when somebody's unalive, underage, they can't get this wrong. Because once they open up the door, they just don't open up a door for themselves. They open up a door for the defendant to defend himself. So they have to be very careful on how they put this case together. If he is in fact guilty, which, we will find out. Is said in the video he's paying people to keep the secret, messing with her. I've seen that too. I seen that too, Paul. I definitely seen that. Yes, I definitely seen that. He can't pay no one. It's already out. But the people that she's referring to is people that if they call as a witness, again, simply what I said, they could easily say that I've seen them work together, I've seen them do music, but I don't know if I've seen them, you know what I'm saying? Because the is what you get you locked up. You know what I mean? Even if the relationship is already inappropriate. So, but yeah. So again, I really disagree with Bow Wow regarding this statement. Again, there's a lot of artists out here that is popping, that have major impact, and it's from a music space. But these artists and is not signing up to be a part of what's going on in the industry. And a part of the reason why I've always been successful as an independent artist, I took on the mindset I'd rather bust down 6 figures one way than 7 figures 25 ways. My father, who also was an artist, when I told him I wanted to be an artist, the first thing he did was give me a thick-ass book called The Music Business. And I read that book. And within 2 years, I had my first label offer. I was going to sign the deal. And the money was more money than I had at that time that I ever made. And then at the very last minute, when I spoke to a lawyer, the lawyer told me, do not sign that deal. And I didn't. And I ended up telling my mother, I said, hey, Ma, I know we celebrated the other day, I was about to sign the deal, but I'm not signing that deal. She was upset with me. Because she was like, yo, this is more money, this is more money, they paying you more money than what you ever got paid ever. And I'm like, yeah, but I feel I can make that money on my own with some time and a little seed money. I can do that on my own. And she wasn't feeling it. She wasn't feeling it. Some time had passed. I worked my plan. And my mother said she was proud of me because I made it work. I ain't gonna tell you how much it was, cause you know we got the IRS out here. IRS, I didn't make no money, dog. I got food in return for the music. Okay, I got gas in return for the music. Okay, I got people paid me in Pampers when I was selling my CDs. They was paying me in Pampers. Okay, I didn't make no money. Okay, we got IRS out here. We got all these people out here. I ain't make no money. All right, you see what I'm saying? So I made it work. But this is not about me. This is about literally all the other artists that is doing their thing, that is selling out shows by itself. It may not be arenas, but again, I would rather work a club, do a club show, sell that mug out, make about anywhere from 6 to 10,000 that show off my hard work, just off the door. Not to mention merchandise that includes t-shirts, hats, socks, book bags, music, posters. You see what well, I don't want to speak what Chris Brown is doing, but even with meet and greets could be as cheap as $10. And if you got 10 fans that's loyal, then you made an extra $100 on top of that. So to say that is very disingenuous. Now, is there a lot of artists who's not a part of the system? Can they sell out arenas? No. But y'all can't sell out arenas either. So again, to say that is disingenuous. Because y'all not selling out arenas. How many times have we looked at a video and somebody who's known from the 90s and the 2000s, who music is impactful, ain't nobody in that mug, but they sold millions of albums. Sold millions of albums, but nobody up in here. Why? Nobody heard of you. They don't remember you. And again, this is not a diss to him, but we have to keep this shit in perspective. And I'm speaking from just a general space. That's not make this so like one-sided. You know what I'm saying? But I'm speaking from a place where there's no agenda involved, because we got video proof. We could go look it up. We've already seen it. So let's not do that. Shout out to the chat. Yo, I love the chat, man. We all agree with you on that part, Ashley. But you made it. Y'all thumbs up the live. Thank you. I appreciate that. The video they have of him paying the guy money. Yeah, I seen. Oh, you talking about David? Yeah, I seen that one. Yeah. But yeah, so again, that's why I say it's disingenuous, because again, I've seen other artists live great lives. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to like continue to throw my name in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? Because when I got a chance to walk through that door, and I've been to parties, and these parties I'm at, I'm thinking it's going to be a whole lot of real people. It's industry. Because that first party you get invited to, they hit you with that, yo, it's going to be famous people there. It's going to be the industry in there, bro. You want to be there. You know what I'm saying? So your name will ring out, this, that, and the third. And when you first get an opportunity to do that, you put your best foot forward. You put your clean drawers on. You put your good outfit on and all that. You put on your jewelry and shit. I'm up in there with both my Rolexes on, and I'm chilling. I had like 4 chains on or whatever, and I'm looking around at all these celebrities, impactful people, and all their shit is bogus. Like, oh, Oh, I thought this room was reserved for real ones and impactful people and winners, but this shit bogus. Like, what the fuck? I thought like you think you would made it once you get in there, and in real talk it's a struggle. So that's why I say being part of that older guard, it's like the velvet rope. It's like, yeah, it's popping back here. You get back there, there's really addicts and junkies back there because they're willing to do things to keep their spot. Because eventually they're gonna run out of that money. Which so But I had to speak on that because it was just crazy. In the old days, Ice Spice wouldn't be let in. It depends if she was willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? If she was willing to do it. But if you're talking about just on talent, and I don't want to make it seem that artists from that time wasn't talented, uberly talented. Obviously, they're legends in the game. I gave Bow Wow his props about being a legend. So talent is not the issue. Having the fast track and being a part of a team that has the fast track worked in your favor wasn't necessarily impactful. When somebody hear it enough, it becomes memorable. Does it really make it impactful for real? Because again, this is no diss, but how many songs? See, it's gonna sound personal because something that's impactful, you could put that song on forever at any function, at any place, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to enlist that emotion. How many of those artists is on tour right now that want to be on tour? Kanye West is a great artist, right? He's impactful, right? How many tours is Kanye forced to be on? He's a billionaire. You don't see Kanye West on no tour. Even though Kanye West could sell out tours. If Kanye West dropped a tour, a 25 city tour list tomorrow, it would be sold out within a day. The whole tour. And I'm talking about arenas. He's not doing no tours because he don't have to. Jay-Z's done tours. Jay-Z's catalog is crazy. How many tours have you seen him done because he have to? Impactful artists give tours to give an experience. Beyonce does tours to give an experience. Impactful. I'm going to just leave that there because this has too many layers. And I know he was probably saying it in tongue-in-cheek, but it's very disingenuous. I'm going to be nice and just leave it at that. I just remember those times it was all about quality. And then the mid-90s hit. Then they got to another set of values. But I stay in the old because like the values. Yeah, so in the 90s, the quality was different of music, mainly because you had several people working on ideas to make one idea great. In the 2000s, they realized hip hop was marketable. They realized hip hop, this artist, because he's getting that promotion on TRL and 106 in Park. Yo, if we put a damn phone in his hand, he could probably sell some phones. It became marketable. The gangster image became marketable. It became okay to wear your pants behind your ass and this, that, and the third. It became marketable. Now, it's not that marketable when you have people talking about gonorrhea juice, lip gloss, and things of that nature. Like it's not based on the genuine talent. So I definitely agree with you on that, Malo. Definitely. I'm raised in such a hard way. I can't with stupid 100. But that's on me. I know I'm up to it. But see, but that's also on everybody too, because most people would say when they go to the club, when they hear a song, they don't want to be thinking. They just want to shake their ass. So you get what you ask for. Instead of a 4 or 5 minute song, you get a 2 minute song. But these are the artists that they're talking about. These are the artists that's getting in the pub based on understanding attention. There's a lot of new artists that give you 4 or 5 minute songs that are fire, that are musically would do something to your spirit, right? But there is no more 106 in Park. There was never a 106 in Park for that particular artist unless that artist had inside to a label that was really pushing that. And there wasn't many labels pushing that back in the 2000s like that. Maybe in the 90s, when they went bankrupt, they realized they rather be profitable than being bankrupt and sending out a message. I wouldn't even say bankrupt. I would say more so it didn't make the millions that they wanted to make. So that's also disingenuous in itself by saying that. Everybody got a sandwich bill at Burger King so far. Shout out to Paul. Right, Paul. You're exactly right. Anytime you notice, artists come out with a new biscuit burger, with the special Burger King pack or the McDonald's pack. All the new artists is doing that. All the new artists is doing that. But the artists that are getting that is artists for real that is like, I don't want to diss these people too hard because I understand they trying to get their money, but these are not artists that the people is picking. But they understand the attention, so they're gonna constantly get attention, right? They understand it. Christian Rock, she understands attention, so she's gonna get attention, right? She's not putting her energy into being a great artist, but she understands the attention. But she doesn't have these deals, but I'm saying her name because she understands attention, whether it's good publicity or bad publicity. People are going to like listen. If she come out here and say something right now and it's positive or negative, people are going to hear it. Simple and plain, because she understands. She understands. She understands having attention and how to get it using the media space. So a lot of artists that get in these deals understand that, not because they're great artists. There's a lot of great artists out here that doesn't get the same attention because they're not even trying to do all that. They just trying to give you this fire music. So, but again, that's what it is. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic: a viral video of Clark Atlanta student Kyla Bryant. I hope I'm saying her name right. She was being strangled by a man that stepped on her foot. She was getting off the bus, and a man was stepping on her foot. She was looking at the man to get an apology out of her. His girlfriend happened to be there. The young lady was, getting the best of the girl, and the guy that stepped on this girl's foot, he picks that girl up to get her off his girlfriend because his girlfriend was losing, and strangles her. And I believe if the men that wasn't in the vicinity did not stop him, I believe that would have got real nastier, because that escalated quick. Because the girl that got, that the dude stepped on, she was getting the best of the girlfriend. So he found himself defending her by strangling this girl. I have to be honest. Watching that dude in that moment, I don't understand why the men wasn't whooping ass. And I'm not saying this to placate, because I'm not placating. I don't do that. But I'm saying this is because I don't understand how you could see this young lady getting strangled. She was not getting out of that. It was a wrap. And he was talking to her while he was strangling her. And when you're talking to somebody while you're strangling, while you're whooping ass, while you're doing, that's a level of crazy that, like you snap. You snap. So I don't understand how he walks away without getting his ass whooped. And it was men that intervened, got him up off of her, but they didn't whoop no ass. They just made sure that she was safe. Grant that. I also, but let me play devil's advocate on myself, because I can understand that, because now if they whoop ass and they unalive him, now they go to jail for being involved in their bullshit. So, okay. But one thing I'm glad about is that they got him up off of her and let the cops do their job, because that's what we have the cops for. The cops do their job. They could do whatever they want, and it won't be that type of backlash. Okay, cool. Still was a bitch move by him. It's one thing to see your lady getting whooped and you get somebody up off your lady, but it's a whole nother thing to fight this person, especially when it's a woman. Especially. It's a woman and your woman is losing. You get this chick up off of her, but you don't need to throw no punches. You don't need to strangle her. And mind you, there was a size difference. And I think size also matters too. This dude was physically bigger, stronger than this. This girl wasn't that big at all. She looked maybe about 100 pounds, soaking wet. And he looked like he could handle himself, but you need your ass whooped. I hope he hears me say that. You need your ass whooped. Don't ask me to do it, because I'm the type of crazy you looking for. Because he was like, yo, where your boyfriend at? Where your boyfriend at? And I was like, damn, I hope this girl got a boyfriend. I wish to God her boyfriend have a little crazy in him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you asking for it, you're going to find it. It's funny that people play crazy until real crazy show up. It's funny when you're asking for the business, somebody's going to answer that door. And there's a lot of men that seen that and realize that was a real punk ass move. I can understand you getting her up off your woman, because nobody want to see nobody on top of their woman whooping her ass. Like, yeah, I mean, we don't want to see that. But be a man. Handle that situation. Yo, stop. Take your ass up over there. But you strangling her like you about to murder this girl? Like, real talk, if it wasn't for the men in that situation, it would have went left. Then he basically is not looking for her, but he's like walking her down to basically agitate her some more, to do more. Like, it's like, yo, dude, you got her up off your woman. The way you did it was some punk ass shit, but you did that. You don't need to go follow her and pop your shit, knowing that she don't got no dude near her, knowing that if she did have a dude, by the time he pulled up, you gonna be gone. So when you ask for crazy, sir, you're gonna find it in the most unlikely place. So be careful for asking for it, because the devil does knock on doors. When you go knocking, be very careful. Ladies, be aware of your surroundings. Not victim blaming, but be aware of your surroundings. You're in a situation where you're dealing with a guy and his girl. He stepped on your shoe. He was completely wrong. You had every right to say, yo, you stepped on my shoe. I don't get an apology. Once he start responding with the ignorance, okay, you got it. Have a nice night. Stay on the extra block and get off the bus and walk back. You in a situation that you cannot control the outcome by yourself. And obviously, if it wasn't for those men, who knows what would have happened? So I don't necessarily want to blame you, because you're not at fault for this. But at the same time, understand your surroundings and know how to move. That's all. That's all. Again, not blaming you, because he's wrong. He need his ass whooped. But at the same time, understand what's a loss and what's a win. Most men do that. Men do that. Men see a situation, yeah, cool. I'm gonna remember you. I'm in a situation, I can't control the outcome. What Craig Father saying Friday? Live to fight another day. So again, Kayla Bryant, we got love for you, mama. Hope you feel better, get better, but understand the surroundings. That guy needs his ass whooped, and he also needs to be arrested. But before he gets arrested, he need to get his ass whooped. Simple and plain. And he the type of dude to sneak up on dudes. He not the type of dude to be like, yo, I'm such and such, what's happening? He the type of dude to sneak up on dudes. I already know that he don't got that type of heart like that. So shout out to Kayla. Continue to get your education. But let's be a little strategic in how we move in high stressed situations, especially if you realize you can't control the outcome. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in on the chat. Y'all still going in on the chat. I'm glad she didn't lose her life. Yes, because she literally could have lost her life because he was walking with her as he was strangling her and talking to her in her ear, and her feet was like, you know how that the feet go like that? It was like that. You see it in the video. But he's going to jail for strangulation of a woman. But it's crazy. We are in a world where people will watch you get killed while they're waiting for the police to step in. But see, here's my thing, right? And that's why I had to clean that up, because I feel like the men should have whooped ass, but in a way I understand why they didn't when I think about it with my other brain, the right side of my brain. It's like, all right, so they whoop a lot of ass. Now they get arrested for assault. They don't get arrested for they don't get like a badge of honor for defending this young lady's honor. You see what I'm saying? And now they arrested for assault, and it takes them away from their family by being introduced into somebody else's bullshit. So I commend the fact that they broke it up. Somebody was taping it, and if it was a dude, which is crazy, people would rather tape your ass than to help you, to help you get out of some shit, which is crazy. But I'm glad that they broke it up and it's documented, and you let the police do their job. But I'm from, listen, that guy needs his ass whooped, and he talking like it's funny. People that talk crazy don't know what crazy is until crazy show up, and it's in its most unlikely form. Be careful what you ask for. Shout out to Malu, but he's going to jail for strangulation of a woman. Oh, it's crazy. Okay, I read that. Come on. It's on YouTube or the news, 6-7. Wow. Shout out to Rick, Rebel in the building. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. Always carry a taser, preferably a knife. I had someone step on my shoe on the bus. He apologized right away. I was like, don't trip, cousin. Vic, we got Vic in the building. My dog Vic in the building. Shakia, that's not his first time putting hands on a woman. Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that too. He looked very comfortable doing that. Everyone can make a mistake. Very true. In a crowd transport situation, we take things lightly. That's very true. People do make mistakes in real time too. So there is some grace to that. But he definitely needs his ass whooped. And people do mistakes in real time by just being bystanders, not knowing how to react in certain situations. That fight or flight, people get really scared, they run. So I understand that too. Once a woman beater, always a woman beater. Facts 100. But of course, if someone go across the street and kick your shoulder just to call it an accident, then It's another story, of course. I like that. Exactly. Y'all don't forget. Okay. Yeah. So I hear y'all in the chat. I hear y'all in the chat. Y'all made some valid statements and points that I definitely agree with. It's just I hate seeing stuff like that. I think it's real punk ass to do something like that. But I do view it case by case. I also view it case by case as well, mainly because some people be on that bullshit, whether it's man or woman. But in that particular situation, it's like, all right, you don't want your woman to get beat up on. She was getting her ass beat too. You get her up off of her. Yo, chill. Now go on somewhere, girl. Like, get out of here. Pick your lady up. You good, and y'all go forward. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just not. I'm not a proponent of that. Like, I've told my exes, and I'm very big on this because I grew up fighting. I grew up boxing before I ever got into football and basketball and music later on. I told all my exes, if you ever in your life see me getting jumped, if you jump in, I will never deal with you ever again. If you jump in on my behalf and I'm sitting there fighting men, you better not jump in. Because there's a level that I'm going to physically that you cannot be a part of this. You always safe because I say you're safe. Now when you jumping in, you're making yourself unsafe. So I'm the type of dude, if you see me get jumped, you better not jump your ass in here. Because now I can't control what this person is going to do to you. I'm more than man enough and more than capable on whooping that ass. So be cool, watch me work, and chill. And I've never had that situation happen. So, well, one time I got jumped in. You know, one of my exes seen how I handled that. So, and I'm not saying that as a brag. I'm saying that as a mindset on keeping the person that I love safe. I'm very big on safety. I don't know if that's like my zodiac, but I'm very big on safety. I'm a Cancer. I don't play when it comes to the people around me and their safety. I take that very serious. I take my daughter's safety serious. I take anybody that I love that's around me, that I care for, their safety seriously. So I don't play them games. Shakia, I'm sure people don't want to go to jail for life because of an idiot. That's a fact. Nobody want to go to jail for no. So that's what I'm saying. I could get the fact that those dudes broke it up opposed to really like whooping ass because they don't want to catch the charges. So I get that. But if you're a dude and you taping something and somebody's like going through the struggle, it's like, yo, you don't break that up at least? Like, that's crazy. You just think you getting the content though, but you ain't gonna break that up. Oh, all right. Like, somebody gotta tape it. You know what I'm saying? As you say, create, document, and inspire, right? Like, yo, come on. Like, that's not what a brother is talking about. You know what I'm saying? But it's just the only option for survival. Facts. Or you asking if that's the only option for survival? Yeah, it's nothing that anybody I would date can do for my survival. Nobody controls my survival but me. I take my survival very serious. So I get the point that you're making, but sit your ass on the side. I got this. I got this. He's the aggressor. But yeah. All right, y'all. Moving on to our next hot topic. A rapper. And we just spoke about some of these 90s rappers. Rapper from the Fugees, rapper Pras Michael gets 14 years in prison for illegally funding donations to the Obama campaign through a foreign investor. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Again, rapper from legendary group Pras Michael Gets 14 years in prison for illegally funding donations to the Obama campaign from a foreign funder. Let me know what y'all think about that in the chat. Shout out to David in the building. Appreciate you tapping in. Hit them likes, hit the 100s. It helps with the growth of the show. We don't know if those dudes are on the run from the police, have warrants or jails, or just got out, etc. Yeah, that's why I say that, Paul. That's why I had to fix that in real time in what I said. Watching all the way from the Philippines. Yo, appreciate you tapping in, man. Shout out to David. Appreciate you tapping in, man. Hit them likes, hit the 100s, David. But appreciate you tapping in. That's love. Your first time tapping in, I am Ashley Lovechild, and it's the Kenna Brothers Get a Rap podcast. We appreciate you being in here. Love all day, brother. All right, y'all. I thought this was very interesting. We just spoke about artists who are impactful, but this man is going to jail for 14 years. They caught him stone cold for illegally funding the Obama campaign from foreign funders. So in essence, let's say if they're writing off a check for $1 million for the Obama campaign, easily one could surmise that instead of $1 million, he's like, yo, it's actually $1.2 million. So that 200,000 is for him, and that 1 mil is for the Obama campaign. So one could easily surmise that. I don't know for sure, so I'm not going to speak more in depth on that particular part. But what's on paper, what's in depth, is that he did illegally put in money to the Obama campaign through foreign investors. But one would think that if you have a foreign investor and they're giving you money for something, for a campaign, you give the money to the campaign, but you don't give like every single dollar, because the foreign investors, it's not like it's going to come up on their stuff. So I just thought it was quite interesting. And this move sounds very desperate, moving out of desperation. What happened to impact artists that could sell out tours and make the type of money that they don't have to do shows? We just had spoke about that previously. For people that don't know Pras Michaels, he was a part of the legendary Fugees group. We all know who the Fugees are: Wyclef, Lauryn Hill, legends. He's a part of that group. It was all three of them. As far as the main artists, not talking about people that was working in the background, but I find that just super interesting that he's even in this situation. And being in this situation comes out of desperation. I'm just saying. I wonder if, even though it's not necessarily Barack's problem, it, like, who was calculating the money or figuring out which money comes from where? Because when you're doing a campaign, you put down what money is coming from who. You want to know who your big donors are. If you're having a campaign and somebody give you 100,000, you like, where that 100,000 came from, right? So you keep a document of that, and you want to make sure that you hear from this person, so that way, if they have some sort of thoughts and things that they want to share with you, just because they gave you that, you're going to sit down and listen. So I just thought that was completely interesting that it only affected Pras and not anybody else from the Obama administration at that time. Shout out to the chat. Y'all going in on the chat. Malu, are they going to lock up Lauryn Hill as accomplice? I'm not sure. They didn't name her. They didn't name her on that because he worked separately from outside of the group, just like how they have their group stuff and they have their separate stuff. I think he did this all on his own because they didn't make mention of Lauryn Hill or Wyclef. I think it's two who I think so too, who started the investigation. Shakia is such surprise that something just smells like a big lie. Fugees to the president of America. Come on. You feel me? You feel me? I still feel bad for being, I still feel bad for him being a legend in the music game, and wonder how Lauren and Wineclef feels. Everything is just fishy about that case. 4 years for trafficking, 14 years for something allegedly. Come on. Crazy they are going that as far as back as the Obama campaign. Yes. So we talking about what, '08? Because he went in '08, right? So just because you went in '08, that means you was campaigning what, '06, '07? So they went back. Yes. Okay, so I got that one. I got that one. Yeah, so I agree with y'all. Like, it's crazy that they go back, but if you're in the realm of their jurisdiction as far as I'm forgetting the word right now, but if the time of the crime, if they could get you, they're gonna get you. Simple and plain. If they could get you, they're gonna get you within the time frame of the crime. Like, certain crimes are forever. Other crimes have a, a 3-year span, 6-year span, 10-year span. They like, nah, we gonna get this dude. And because he is who he is, it is an easy target. It is an easy target. But these charges, they got him stone cold busted. I mean, even if this is alleged, getting 14 years for him to get out of this, he has to do a whole appeal. Now, his legal team said that they plan on doing an appeal, but he still have to go through the process. By the time that appeal even go through, he's gonna have already completed some sort of time in jail. So this is not something that's going to be immediate at all. So it looks like a personal agenda to frame him for things like this. To give him 14 years is just not right. 100% they don't like him because he's a freedom fighter, refugee. Like, see, I get that on one aspect, but on the other aspect, you can't allow yourself to be put in that situation if you're prize. Can't allow that. You can't allow yourself to be the scapegoat. If that's the case, you have to have your proof on making sure that you stay out of, you stay out of jail. So if you're getting donations from foreign investors for the Obama administration, then you have to have proof that everything that you did was in good standing. And if you don't have the proof, you're going to find yourself in a situation like that. I've said this shows ago. The law is not about what's right and what's wrong. It's what you can prove. I learned that about my first, running with the law at 18. And I looked my lawyer dead in the eye. I did not do this. This is wrong. My lawyer looked back at me with all the love in her eyes. And she said, it ain't about what's right or what's wrong. It's what we can prove. I hear you saying this, but do you have evidence? And that stuck with me forever. So I get exactly what y'all saying. But again, when you're moving in good standing on that level, you have to have traces and just a detailed way about you as far as keeping your proof and keeping your stuff that you're moving in good standing. So that way you don't get caught up with this type of nonsense. Because mind you, he's not the first person to get money from a foreign investor, to have their own agenda for somebody that's in the office. He's not the first. He's not the first person to be exposed to that. But the other people is connected in a way where they make sure that their tracks are clean or they have the proper proof to make sure that they don't get caught up in this. So I definitely take that as well too. But I don't believe that he did it because he's more righteous than our current president. So it seems personal. Okay. But again, he just has to have the proof. If he doesn't have the proof, it's going to be tough. Statutory limit. Yeah. Okay, I got that one too. Yeah, so I definitely hear what y'all saying, but it's about the proof. If you got the proof, he gonna be a free man. If he doesn't, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a tough hill to climb. All right, y'all. Moving on to my next hot topic. College football picks is in. NFL picks is in. My pick six is in for week 13 college football, week 12 for the NFL. First game that I call, number 22 Missouri versus number 8 Oklahoma. I said Oklahoma would win. They did, 17-6. I also said that game would go back and forth, which it did. So it was a close game, good game. Next game I called TCU versus number 23 Houston. I said Houston would win. They lost 17-14. That's another game I said would go back and forth. Could have went either way, but I was rolling with Houston. They had more on the line and they couldn't close the deal. TCU for the upset, 17-14. Next game I call Pitt versus number 16 Georgia Tech. I said Georgia Tech will win. They lost. They lost 42-28 in a complete upset. I said Georgia will win this game, but Pittsburgh will play the best game that they play all season against Georgia Tech because that's like a rival type of game. That's a rivalry game. But I didn't think Georgia Tech would lose at all. Georgia Tech is the better team. If they had to play next week, Georgia Tech would beat them. But it's any given Saturday in the college football, and they lost and they won in a big way, 42-28, ending any chance for Georgia Tech to have any type of college football playoff hopes. Next game I called was number 15 USC versus number 7 Oregon. I said Oregon will win this game. They did, 42-27. But I said this game could have went either way. USC looked really good this year, especially when they look good. When they look good, they look good. But Oregon won. They got the better team, and they won. Next game I called number 18 Michigan versus Maryland. I thought this game would go back and forth. I said my Michigan needed to tighten up. I said my Michigan will win this game. They did in a big way, 45-20. We needed to tighten up. We needed this win. This game couldn't have been close if we have any type of energy going into next week playing against Ohio. Ohio looks really good. Their coaching, their scheme looks very good. So if we had any chance of beating Ohio next week, we needed that momentum from Maryland, and I think we got it. And so shout out to my Michigan winning 45-20. Next game I called number 11 BYU versus Cincinnati. I said BYU will win this game. They did, 26-14. So my pick six for college football, again, I had Oklahoma beating Missouri. They did. I had Houston beating TCU. They did not. I had Georgia Tech beating Pitt. They did not. I had Oregon beating USC. They did. Michigan beating Maryland. They also won. And BYU beating Cincinnati. They won. So I went 4-2. So that's my pick six for college football week 13. My pick six for week 12, the NFL edition. First game I called Colts versus my Chiefs. I said my Chiefs will win, and we did at the end, 23-20. Yo, we better tighten up, man. We better tighten up. We looked good some weeks back. We kept getting better week by week, and now we regressed a little bit. I said we needed this game. We got this game, but it wasn't impressive like that. We need to tighten up, man. So, again, we got the win 23-20. Next game I call Seahawks versus the Titans. I said the Seahawks would win. They did, 30-24. Next game I called Giants versus the Lions. I said the Lions will win this game, and they did, 34-27. Next game I called Eagles versus the Cowboys. I said the Eagles will win this game. They lost, 24-21. Next game I called Falcons versus the Saints. I said the Falcons will win. Falcons won 24-10. And Browns, I had the Cleveland Browns beating the Raiders, and they did, 24-10. Go back to that Eagles and Cowboys game. Eagles was beating the dogness out of the Cowboys, 21-0. After they scored that third touchdown, I thought that game was going to literally end up like 42-7. The game didn't even look close. After the Cowboys scored their first touchdown, for some reason I had a feeling that a comeback was in the works. I didn't think they would come back and win, but they was going to come back and make it a game. Shout out to the Cowboys for making it a game, and they ended up beating the Eagles. So this week, for my Pick 6 NFL edition, I went 5-1 for Week 12. So again, if you're looking for, that special pick for your parlay, a money line, I got some good picks. Or you just looking for some fun and action on them Saturdays and Sundays, tap into the picks as well. Y'all don't forget to like the live. Don't know how to hit the screen. Appreciate that, my little button snaps. Yes, Eagles is running over 100%. I mean, the Eagles don't look the same as they did last year. They don't look the same. I said that earlier this year when they beat Tampa Bay. I thought Tampa Bay will win that game, but they just don't look the same. It don't feel the same. All right, y'all, moving on to our next segment, our Keep the Lie Live segment. My Keep the Lie Live for this episode is this. The linebacker Manti Te'o, before the game of this week with Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns play the Raiders, he had mentioned that he just want to see him play football, and he doesn't want to see him celebrate by doing the Shedeur, doing the watch thing that Shedeur does when he celebrates. And he feels like that is taken away from the team, and because he already gets attention, he's making it all about him. Manti Te'o, I get that on one aspect of it, but there's one thing you have to understand about the culture community. Just because we believe in God doesn't mean we can't have fun. Celebration is a part of football. Name me a week that you watch a game of a good quarterback, great quarterback, does something special or does something great, and he doesn't celebrate in his way. And for you to say otherwise, to spin a narrative that he's making it about himself because he's doing a celebration to pump up his teammates. And quiet as kept, not so quiet. The crowd, we want to see it. I never want to see Shedeur score a touchdown without busting one of these. I better not see a touchdown and he doesn't bust one of these. The people want to see it. I want to see it. His teammates want to see it. When he does something well, his teammates also bust up the watch. What are you talking about? And this comes from a part of having an agenda of hate, because you're not the impactful guy. When you was the impactful guy, you was out here making up fake girlfriends. Manti Te'o was a whole Heisman Trophy candidate who was a great player in college in his own right. We thought he was going to be the second coming, the new prototype linebackers, to be big and fast, be able to play the pass coverage, and to be a run stopper, helping that Notre Dame team go to the national championship. But that's the same Manti Te'o that had a whole fake girlfriend. What superstar athlete makes up a fake girlfriend, bro? And you're speaking about against something that's culture related? You're not the one, bro, to speak on that. No, sir. No, sir, Bob. You make up a whole fake girlfriend, realize the fake girlfriend, after every game, as y'all was winning, people like, so how's the girlfriend? Oh, yeah, she's sick. She's sick. She got cancer. Come to find out, they like, where she got cancer? Who is she? We want to know who she is. We want to hear her story. We want to send her some flowers. We want to pull up. You're Manti's girl. We want to support y'all. You was in love with her too? Yeah, I was catfish, y'all. How you in love with somebody you ain't never meet, dog? How? Where they do that at, Sway? And you a superstar in college? College, and I'm not trying to be crass when I say it, because we got ladies in the chat, but I'm not gonna placate. College has some of the finest women a man could ever see in his life, and they're friendly. And when you're a superstar athlete, it's not easy to get attention. I'm sorry, it's easy to get attention. You have to beat them over you with a stick when you're a superstar athlete in college, unless you're corny as hell. So to have a girlfriend online that you've never met, that you're in love with, that you speak on, now she got cancer, now she didn't exist, you catfish her, and now you're the one to speak up on somebody else and their opportunity, and you don't want to see them celebrate, and it impacts the team if the person celebrates, because you wasn't that type of guy to do that and not make it about you, which you did in your own right with your fake girlfriend. You need to sit down and be cool like how you be cool. What they say in Bad Boys, you need to go downstairs and have a Coke and a smile. That was a crazy take, and that kind of lets me know that agenda that you're trying to push either came from your boss. If you really feel that way, you're not qualified to speak on that. Because in our culture, we could believe in God and still be talented. We could believe in God and still celebrate. We could lead with our talent and still have the people enjoy us being who we are. What great player that's beloved that the fans don't want to see them do their thing, even if you feel like they're making it about them? How many people would be mad at that? You didn't say nothing with other players will celebrate and do their thing and they make it about themselves, but with Shador, it's an issue. Go back to the back of the congregation, have a Coke and a smile. It's cool. We all mess up. Players mess up, right? Players mess up, right? So that's my keep the lie alive for this episode. Be cool like how you be cool, man. For real. Shout out to the chat. Always showing major love. Imaginary girlfriend. What the F? Yes, it was imaginary girlfriend that he made up while he was in college. And the way to get out of it, because now this girlfriend had cancer. And now the girl was dying, so the story got even bigger. And because he was a great player, he was a Heisman candidate on defense. And to be a Heisman candidate at linebacker, that means you whooping ass. So he was whooping hella ass. But to get that type of attention, and it was just spiraling, and he had to kill her off, and all of a sudden he was catfish. So that is just crazy all in itself. So it's like, yo, bro, you as a teammate, it's like, yo, bro, how you get caught up in that, and you're a superstar athlete? Why are you even paying? Why are you even giving time to your internet, bro? You got live women in front of you in real day, huh? That's crazy. Even if you don't partake in sexual behavior, you still need somebody to connect with in person. So he not qualified. So you feel me? You feel me, chat? You feel me, chat? That helps the moral of the team. Exactly. It helps the morale of the team. Exactly. Especially when the team endorses it. The team endorses it. The first touchdown that Shador Sanders threw in preseason, the whole team was on the side. The fans was on the side like this. Nike threw up a damn ad within like an hour of him with the Shador. So like Coke and a smile. So I agree with y'all. Coke and a smile. Shout out to Das in the building. Hit them likes at the 100s. Shout out to Nets in the building. Why do you look like? Okay. Amen. Shout out to Malu. Oh my God, that's so bad. Absolutely 100%. Yeah, it's crazy. So when you're in that situation, and then mind you, he ends up getting drafted. And when you're the guy that was an NFL, a star college player, because I don't think people understand, to be a regular college student and to be a nice looking guy, pause, you're gonna get access of girls on college. Girls on college is little horny little things. And they ain't trying to party. You know what I'm saying? They trying to have a good time. It's college. And to be a superstar athlete on top of that, now it's in abundance. It's in abundance. So it was just crazy. Like I knew guys ain't never played no minutes of the game, had just chicks lined up. I'm just saying. So it is crazy. It is crazy. All right, y'all. Yo, I appreciate y'all for tuning and tapping in each and every Sunday and every Wednesday. If this is your first time tuning and tapping in, it's the Can the Brothers Get a Rap podcast. I am Ashley Lovechild. And again, I'm on every Sunday, every Wednesday at 10:30. So make sure y'all continue to show up, show out, show your love. I appreciate the support, because this show don't grow without you. Thank you for everybody that support. Shout out to Milo in the building, holding down the mods and everything. I appreciate you for that, sister. Also, shout out to Shatia. I hope I said that right, Shatia. She be showing up, showing major love. Paul be showing major love. Shout out to Vic, major love, showing up. Shout out to, I'm not gonna shout out everybody, but I'm gonna shout out some of y'all out. Shout out to, what's my dude, man? Shout out to, hold up, where you go? Oh, shout out to Biggs in the building, my dude Biggs. Shout out to Tom in the building. Shout out to Patrick. I'm not gonna shout every single person out, but shout out to y'all in particular. Y'all always showing major love in the building. And it's crazy. You said that too, Malo. You said Patrick. Yeah, that's a fact. That's shout out to Patrick. I was looking. I was like, where did it go? So shout out to Patrick in the building. Appreciate that. Also, shout out to the presenting sponsor of this podcast, which is Button Snaps, where you get the finest of movies, shows, documentaries, and original content for your viewing pleasure of $4.99. Again, that's Button Snaps. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. That's the word button, hyphenated sign, and the word snaps.com. Also, if you just want to tune in and look for extra content, you can pull up on me on Instagram at Ashley Lovechild. I also got some music out for all the music platforms. Just type in Ashley Lovechild. I got some fire music. If you've never heard of me before, make sure y'all tap into the music. I do have some new music in the tuck that I can't wait to release, but I'm finding new ways to get y'all music and give y'all a real listening and visual experience. And I don't want to continue to do it through the traditional way, through Spotify, through Apple. I'm no longer going to do it in that manner. I'm going to find an ulterior motive, or speaking too fast, alternative way to get you the music. Also, don't forget to hit them likes, hit the 100s. I have over 600 rewatchable videos of this podcast on this channel, so make sure y'all tune and tap into the videos as well. Drop videos daily on top of that, so make sure y'all tap into the videos daily. And y'all remember, the only op we recognize over here is opportunity. Give love, give life, give energy, and y'all already know it's love. And I'm gonna see y'all this Wednesday at 10:30. I'm out.